Chapter 141 You're all cowards. Chapter 141, You're all cowards. Han Fei hurriedly said, No, leader, wait. Let me check it out. Han Fei shouted, Hello. Is anybody here? Any? Shut up. Can't you see I'm sleeping? Han Fei looked around, only to see 300 meters away, under a big tree, an old man with gray messy hair was lying on a lounge chair and sleeping. Han Fei twitched the corner of his mouth. Is he the twin brother of old Zhang? Han Fei walked over and opened his mouth to speak. The old man slightly opened his eyes. Boy, you broke the plaque for our school. You must compensate. 100 mid-quality pearls. Han Fei stumbled. What? This old man charged him 100 mid-quality pearls for a piece of broken wood. Was he trying to rob me? The old man's voice suddenly turned cold. What? You don't want to pay? Han Fei was helpless. Fine, I'll pay you, but sir, I am here because I want to study in the school, but where are the teachers and students? Study here. The old man finally opened his eyes and looked at Han Fei up and down, asking, What is your past record? The old man said impatiently, I'm asking you what achievements you have made. Thinking of the village leader's words, Han Fei hurriedly said, I'm a low-key person, so I haven't achieved anything great. The old man waved. Then go. Our school does not recruit low-key people. What? The village leader came up to pull Han Fei away. Han Fei, let's go. Hurry up. I don't want to stay here. Leader, calm down. Han Fei looked back at the old man. Low-key, that's impossible. I've done a lot of great things and no one of my age can beat me in the 8 villages. Is that enough? The old man shouted, Go away. Our school does not recruit braggarts. Han Fei scratched his belly. Cough. I was only making a joke just now. When I was in the Heavenly Water Village, I wiped out the Heavenly Water Village's largest gang, the Tigers. I won first place in the Heavenly Water Village's fishing trial. And I also got first place in the resource competition this year. Is that enough? The old man said again, Go away. Our school does not recruit braggarts. Han Fei was helpless. I was not bragging. What I said is true. You can ask the students from the 8 villages whether I beat them or not. In the final battle, I fought against 2 people from the Tianxin village alone. And I don't even bother to mention it. The village leader's face grew darker and darker. He couldn't bear it anymore, so he went outside to wait for Han Fei. However, the old man slightly turned his head. No one your age can beat you in the 8 villages. Han Fei patted his belly. Yes, and I only used one of my combat skills. The old man said, Show me your spiritual beast. Han Fei was stunned for a moment. Sir, may I show you my contractual spiritual beast? 9 tails, come out. With a flash of light, a huge mantis shrimp appeared, shaking its 7 tails. The old man's face slightly changed, but Han Fei didn't notice it, because 9 tails was already punching the ground like crazy. Han Fei rushed up and kicked it. Behave yourself. Don't move. Han Fei looked back again. Well, what do you think of it, sir? The old man grunted. Just so. Where is your spiritual beast? Let me see it. Han Fei struggled for a while. Well, okay. If he studied here, he would have to show his spiritual beast sooner or later. So with a flash between his eyebrows, Little Black and Little White appeared. Han Fei believed that this old man would not be able to see Little Black. As for Little White, except for a black spot on his head, his longer tail, and nicer scales, he seemed to be no different from other spirit-swallowing fish. Spirit-swallowing fish. The old man immediately lost interest and waved his hand. The students enrolled in our school all have exotic spiritual beasts. Han Fei shot back, but my contractual spiritual beast is exotic. After all, it's not just about your spiritual beast. How about this? If you can do something big in the Blue Sea town, we will consider admitting you. Han Fei wondered what the old man's identity was. After thinking about it for a while, he looked at the school and took a deep breath. Do your words count? Can I see the students and teachers at the school? The old man said impatiently, I don't know. Are you going to do it or not? If not, just get out. Han Fei was very angry. This old man was simply outrageous. He almost wanted to summon 9 tails to teach him a lesson. Han Fei grunted. Okay. Then it's a deal. I'm going to do something big. Wait for my good news. Han Fei turned around and strode away. The village leader quickly said, do you believe me now? Such a lousy school. God knows why the town hasn't removed it. Han Fei frowned and wondered, right. If this school was really as bad as it looked, why hadn't the Blue Sea town gotten rid of it? After all, this floating island was very big. Even bigger than the Heavenly Water Village. Han Fei rolled his eyes. Grandpa Leader, would you like to go back to the village first? I have some other things to tend to. If the school doesn't accept me, I'll go back by myself. The village leader narrowed his eyes. What things are you going to tend to? You don't know anyone in the Blue Sea town. Leader, do you forget He Xiao Yu and the others? They are right in the town. Then he handed old Yang's letter to the village leader. I have to deliver a letter for old Zhang. The village leader doubted him. Where? Han Fei grinned. The Third Academy. The village leader smiled and stroked his long beard. I'm glad you've changed your mind. The Fourth Academy is not a good choice. It's said that the strongest master is from the Third Academy. It is not bad to go there. The village leader took it for granted that old Zhang wrote this letter to recommend Han Fei to the Third Academy, which he certainly supported. The head of the village was relieved. Okay, you can go back by yourself. I'll go back first. Okay. Han Fei saw the village leader to the port. Then he ran towards the Third Academy after asking people about its location. The Third Academy was called the Waterfall Academy. Han Fei stood at the gate of the academy and said to the guard, I'm here to see someone at this school. The guard looked at Han Fei, who was as fat as a ball, and said in dislike, Humph. No one is allowed in except students of the school. Who are you looking for? I'm looking for Yi Nanfei, a teacher in the fighting department of your school. The guard looked at Han Fei up and down. Who are you? You can just go to Mr. Yi's home. I don't know where his home is. The guard laughed. You don't even know where his home is. Why do you want to see him? I want to challenge him. Who? The guard almost slipped to the ground and immediately yelled at Han Fei. Are you crazy? FCK off. You must be out of your mind. Han Fei. Han Fei was pushed out and attracted many people's attention. Han Fei grunted and turned away. 10 minutes later, Han Fei returned, holding a purple bamboo rod, carrying the black iron rod on his back, and having 2 knives at his waist. He also had a wooden sign beside him, reading, The people in the Third Academy are all cowards. I, Han Fei, want to challenge Yi Nanfei of the fighting department. Hiss. The guard who pushed him out just now hurriedly rushed out, pointed at Han Fei and yelled, You damn brat, are you looking for death? What are you doing here? Han Fei blinked. But you won't let me in. I am here to challenge Yi Nanfei. The guard immediately scolded him. Now leave. Is this where you can stay? Han Fei said with a smile, Am I occupying your land? Isn't this part of the Third Academy? Why do you stop me? Just call Yi Nanfei out. But at this time, a large number of students had gathered around, and when they saw the words written on the sign, they were immediately pissed off. Was this guy provoking them? Fatty, how dare you? Which school are you from? Han Fei remained calm. I'm not in any school. I came from the Heavenly Water Village. The students froze and then burst into laughter. Ha ha, look at this silly bumpkin from the countryside. Who the FCK do you think you are? Fatty, are you out of your mind? Yi Nanfei, how dare you challenge a teacher of our fighting department? You crazy idiot. Han Fei suddenly shouted loudly, The people in the Third Academy are all cowards. Come on, fight me. Chapter 142 set the whole town astir. Chapter 142, set the whole town astir. Hearing Han Fei's words, all the students around got angry. Someone immediately shouted, Fatty, you are too arrogant. Let me teach a lesson. Han Fei glanced at him. You're too weak. FCKU. The young man rushed up and swung his rod at him, and the surrounding people cheered up for him. Some people sneered, This just serves him right. Bam! The young man who attacked with his rod was shaken out violently and bumped into several people. Han Fei thrust the purple bamboo rod into the ground. I said you were too weak. Is this all you guys have got? Anyone else? Fatty, shut up. Let me fight you. Han Fei, come on. let's fight one-on-one. Bastard, I'm gonna cut you into pieces. ... All Han Fei heard was a constant buzzing in his ear, and he looked at these people in disdain, saying, I'll give you a chance to challenge me. You can come up together. Shit, I'm gonna fight you. A man thrust a long spear at his body with a jerk, and the tip of it was shining with flickering spiritual energy. Han Fei slightly moved his body sideways and waved the purple bamboo rod in an instant. Then the attacker was sent flying at a faster speed than which he himself moved. The students froze. This fatty doesn't seem to be simple. Brat, not bad, but you are too arrogant. You've gotta learn to respect. Let me fight him. I come first. Go away. Let me fight him. They all began to gang up on Han Fei. Bam, bam, bam. At the gate of the Waterfall Academy, there was a large crowd of people, and after only several minutes, more than a dozen people were sent flying through the air. There were still many students who surrounded Han Fei and were preparing to fight him. Suddenly someone shouted behind him, what's going on here? What a mess. Damn, it's Wang Ming of the fighting department. This time, Han Fei will be doomed. Wang Ming is already an advanced fishing master. He can beat this fatty easily. Han Fei looked at Wang Ming and shook his head. You are not my opponent. Call Yi Nanfei out. Wang Ming was stunned for a moment, then when he saw the words written on the sign, he got furious. That's too much. Which school are you from? The Blue Sea Academy or Peerless Academy? I'm not in any school. I came from the Heavenly Water Village. Wang Ming was shocked again. Came from a village. Then how dare he be so provocative? Wang Ming sneered. I'll fight you. Han Fei said flatly, I said you were not my opponent. Wang Ming was furious again. Then let's see who will lose. Someone shouted, Fatty, who do you think you are? I bet you can't survive a single blow from Wang Ming. Some people sneered, yes, maybe his head will be chopped off. Wang Ming's weapon was double axes. He jumped into the air, and the axes in his hand flashed with cold glints. Just when Wang Ming was about to launch a spiritual energy explosion attack, he suddenly found that Han Fei's figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Bam! Fu! Han Fei's purple bamboo rod flashed, and Wang Ming was shaken away and spat out a mouthful of blood. Han Fei fully released the power of a great fishing master, and spiritual energy surged in his body, causing the people around him to keep retreating. What? A great fishing master? How is it possible? How old is this fatty? How is it possible for him to be a great fishing master? He just said that he had not yet entered a school. Really, how can a person from the villages be so strong? Hurry up, report to the teachers. Although there were still people around him, they stayed far away from him. There was nobody within 5 meters of Han Fei. Not only was the Third Academy astir, but the whole town was in an uproar. A passerby was surprised. Did you hear that? A brat from the countryside blocked the door to challenge the Third Academy and claimed that the people in the Third Academy are all cowards. Really? Yes, they're already fighting. Let's go check it out. ... After 10 minutes or so, dozens of people came towards the gate. The man walking in front was Yi Nanfei, who Han Fei knew. Apart from Yi Nanfei, there were several elder people. They were teachers, all of whom were great fishing masters. In addition to these teachers, Han Fei also saw a few students who were also great fishing masters. Not bad. It seems that there are quite a lot of great fishing masters among the students. Han Fei, Han Fei. Han Fei suddenly saw a figure rush over. It was Jia Tong. Jia Tong couldn't believe his eyes. It was really Han Fei. Shoot, why are you here? Han Fei was surprised. Are you studying here? Jia Tong nodded. It's not just me. Chen Qing is also here. He is coming here now. I didn't believe it when I heard your name. What are you doing here? Han Fei smiled. I'm here to challenge someone. Look, he's come. Yi Nanfei had walked up to Han Fei. Little fatty, it turns out to be you. Wow, you have lost weight. Han Fei held his head high. I used to be thin. Your students ganged up on me the other day. Now I'm here to challenge you. Dare you accept my challenge? Han Fei looked behind Yi Nanfei and saw the sword-bearing boy and the bow-bearing boy he met that day, and he smiled at them. It seems that I came at the right time. The sword-bearing boy said coldly, that day, 5 of us fought you, and today I will challenge you alone. Han Fei scoffed. I know you're already a peak-level fishing master, but that's not enough. You don't deserve to fight me before you become a great fishing master. The sword-bearing boy shouted, You're too arrogant. Han Fei said lazily, The 5 of you can fight me together. I don't mind defeating you again. The sword-bearing boy was about to speak but was stopped by Yi Nanfei. He said simply, Okay, Han Fei, I accept your challenge. Come on. Yi Nanfei had just said that when a female teacher said, Mr. Yi, are you sure to accept the challenge of a boy? In the opinion of this female teacher, this was very unwise. Since Han Fei dared to come, he must have something in him. They had all heard about Han Fei's 1-5 fight. If he was not confident with his strength, he wouldn't have come here. More importantly, it was nothing new for students to beat a teacher. There were many students who could beat their teachers almost in every school. Han Fei looked around. Fight here. Yi Nanfei nodded. Yes. Okay, as you wish. Yi Nanfei said to the surrounding people. Everyone, step back 20 meters. Han Fei held his rod. Now, let's start. With that, Han Fei stepped out as quickly as a bolt of lightning, leaving a deep footprint on the ground. Yi Nanfei suddenly pulled out the long rod in his hand, which turned into dozens of rod shadows. Han Fei's purple bamboo rod was shining with spiritual energy and he quickly drew a circle in midair, and immediately a large circle of spiritual energy appeared, blocking the dozens of rod shadows. Han Fei took the opportunity to attack. His attack was as fast as lightning and extremely powerful and violent. Although he didn't use much spiritual energy, his attack was as powerful as a spiritual energy explosion. Fuse. Yi Nanfei looked solemn. This boy was too strong. Although he had just become an intermediate great fishing master, he still couldn't resist Han Fei's violent force. An exotic red brow shrimp. Not far away, a student shouted very excitedly. Han Fei sneered. So what? When the shrimp swung its 2 whiskers at Han Fei, he stepped into the air, turned back, and shot out the purple bamboo rod in his hand like a bow. Bam! The surrounding students were shaken as they retreated from the huge force. Han Fei touched the ground with the tip of his toes and drew out his double knives. Clang, clang, clang. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. It was too quick. How could he use the knives so quickly? The sword-bearing boy turned pale. Is this guy already so strong? He can even overwhelm Mr. Yi in combat skills. Yi Nanfei was also shocked. His Shadow Whip combat skills were completely suppressed and his spiritual beast couldn't exert its ability either. Rotating blade. Han Fei threw out the 2 knives in his hands and appeared behind Yi Nanfei in a blink of an eye. Spiritual energy protective cover. Yi Nanfei immediately covered his body with a spiritual energy protective cover and the long rod in his hand swept back, while Han Fei grabbed his purple bamboo rod in midair. Spiral strike. The rod twirled and went straight to Yi Nanfei's chest. Yi Nanfei had just blocked Han Fei's rod and double knives when another strike came at him. Bam! Yi Nanfei was sent flying dozens of meters, and before he had any time to react, Han Fei had put his double knives against his neck. In the shocked stare of everyone, Han Fei withdrew his double knives, picked up the purple bamboo rod, crushed the wooden sign with 1 foot, and turned away. Wait! Yi Nanfei shouted. Han Fei, how about you join our academy? Han Fei said without looking back, No, I've chosen another school. The crowd made a way for him, and after Han Fei disappeared into the crowd, Yi Nanfei spat out a mouthful of blood. Chapter 143 A Strange Academy. Chapter 143, A Strange Academy. Many people were shocked in the vicinity at Han Fei's shot to fame. He defeated Yi Nanfei, a teacher from the fighting department of the 3rd Academy, and he simply swaggered off. Then someone found out that Han Fei was heading towards the 4th Academy. At the moment, Yi Nanfei was healing himself with the help of a female teacher beside him. How is that brat so powerful? The female teacher exclaimed. Yi Nanfei rubbed his chest. Yes, he attacked very quickly and effectively. From the moment the fight started, he had taken the upper hand. Can he enter the top 100 heavenly talents? Yi Nanfei mumbled, maybe more than that. Hiss. The female teacher couldn't help asking, should I chase after him? Yi Nanfei shook his head and smiled bitterly. No, this boy is very stubborn and knows what he is doing. At the moment Yi Nanfei noticed that his students, especially the sword-bearing boy, were in low spirits. Do you know why I didn't allow you to fight him? You can be defeated once, but not again. He is no longer your whetstone. If I let him defeat the 5 of you again, it will seriously hurt your confidence and even become your psychological shadow. The sword-bearing boy looked up. Teacher, will he really become one of the top 100 strong masters? Yi Nanfei was a little stunned. I don't know, but, you know, this is his first time to the Blue Sea town. Hearing this, everyone around Yi Nanfei was shocked. Although this was his first time in the Blue Sea town, he created such breaking news. After a while, someone came to report, Mr. Yi, do you know where Han Fei went? He ran to the 4th Academy. Huh, 4th Academy? The sword-bearing boy asked. Teacher, the 4th Academy, isn't that a run-down school? It doesn't have any students or teachers. What is he doing there? Yi Nanfei was silent for a moment. The 4th Academy also had its day in the past. At that time, that school was the #1 school in the Blue Sea town. Even Thousand Star City was not its opponent. It used to be a legend. Unfortunately, it has fallen away. The 4th Academy was too arrogant and aroused public wrath, so many of its students and teachers were hunted down and killed. Hiss. For the first time, the students heard about the glorious record of the 4th Academy. Even Thousand Star City was not its opponent. Was this a joke? 4th Academy. A strong bearded man came back carrying a bamboo basket. When he saw the plaque on the ground, he said helplessly, Old boy, the plaque fell. The old man said lazily, so what? It was about fall anyway. The bearded man shook his head, wiped the plaque with his sleeve, placed it aside, and then flaunted to the old man, Old boy, you know what, I sold a bull conch today and earned 100 mid-quality pearls. The old man scoffed. Big deal, I earned 100 mid-quality pearls doing nothing. Suddenly, the old man opened his eyes and sat up. Ah, that brat didn't give me money. The bearded man was stunned. Which brat? Oh yeah, today it is said that a boy from the countryside blocked the gate of the 3rd Academy and claimed that the people of the 3rd Academy were all cowards. The old man was not surprised at all. What he said is true, isn't it? The bearded man smiled bitterly. Well, at least it's better than our school. But, that boy beat Yi Nanfei, a teacher from the fighting department of the 3rd Academy, in less than 5 minutes. Gee, unfortunately, that boy is a soul warrior. If he wasn't, we may consider recruiting him. While the bearded man was speaking, he saw a meatball-like boy carrying a huge package that was several times larger than him come in. Han Fei waved to the old man. Sir, I'm back. I've done something big. The bearded man froze. Who is this kid? The old man raised his eyebrows. I don't know. He said he wanted to come to our academy to study. It was he who made the plaque fall, so he owes us 100 mid-quality pearls. The bearded man. Han Fei towed his big package over and exclaimed when he saw the bearded man, Oh! I seem to have seen you at the port's fair. You were the one selling bull conches. The bearded man scratched his head. Really? Han Fei said to the old man, Sir, did I pass the test? Today I crushed the 3rd Academy. Am I awesome? Now am I qualified to join the 4th Academy? The bearded man was startled. Was that you? Are you that Han Fei who made a scene at the gate of the 3rd Academy? Han Fei scratched his belly. Did you see it? The bearded man shook his head. No, I heard it. Do you want to join our 4th Academy? Han Fei nodded. Yes, you see, I've brought all my belongings with me. Pots, quilts, bowls, low-level spiritual fruit, fresh ingredients. Is there a kitchen here? Let me put these in the kitchen. The old man looked stunned and quickly stopped Han Fei. Wait, boy, when did I say you've passed the assessment? Han Fei stared at the old man. Didn't you ask me to do something big? Did I say that it was an assessment? Besides, you just beat a teacher. What's the big deal of that? How do you have the cheek to claim you've crushed the 3rd Academy? Han Fei. The old man sneered. Okay, I like your style. It's a bit like our schools. But our academy's tuition is very high. You've gotta pay this number. The old man raised 2 fingers complacently. Han Fei was stunned. 2,000 mid-quality pearls. It's a little expensive, but that's okay, I can pay it. The old man. The bearded man. The old man muttered in his heart, I wanted to say 200. Aren't you from the countryside? How are you so rich? Han Fei took out a bag from the big package, which was full of mid-quality pearls. The old man and the bearded man were stunned. Wow, is this fatty so rich? Han Fei couldn't show Forge the universe, so he had to carry such a big package himself. The bearded man kept winking at the old man, and the latter looked back at him in bewilderment. Cough. Well, kid, since you are so sincere and have paid the tuition, I will give you a formal assessment, but the assessment fee. The old man raised a finger again. Seeing his movement, the bearded man almost rushed up to cover his mouth. Hurry up, accept this kid. Why the hell do you still want to assess him? We need him. Han Fei scratched his belly again. Is there a charge for the assessment? Well, okay, if I need to pay for the assessment, I guess the accommodation is not for free either, right? Fine, here are 5,000 middle-grade pearls. Take them and keep the change. Cough, cough. The old man coughed and almost fell off the chair. He stood up and said to Han Fei, although, our academy is recruiting spirit gatherers, not soul warriors. Before he had finished speaking, his eyes widened. Han Fei's hands flashed with spiritual energy, and as Han Fei stamped on the ground, a spirit-gathering circle appeared on the ground, and in an instant, spiritual energy rushed into this circle from all directions. Han Fei grinned. Spirit gatherers. I happen to be a spirit gatherer. The old man quickly looked up at the sky. Well, Xiao Zhan, what are you waiting for? Call those little bastards over. As the old man said this, he tucked away the 5,000 mid-quality pearls in his chair and then said to Han Fei seriously, meet your classmates. If you can hold out under their attacks for 5, forget it, 3 minutes, you'll pass the assessment. Han Fei's face changed dramatically. Are the students of the 4th Academy strong? 3 minutes, are you kidding me? I must hold out for 10 minutes. In less than 10 minutes, Han Fei saw 5 people running from a distance. One was the bearded man who had just left, and Han Fei's eyes suddenly lit up. Wow, what a cute, pretty girl. Han Fei's mouth almost watered. In his heart hid a 30-year-old soul. It was normal he was attracted to this pretty girl. This girl, with a ponytail, had snow-white teeth, rosy lips, watery eyes, and pink cheeks. She looked quite energetic with 2 daggers hanging from the waist, from which he could tell she was a hunter. What a beautiful girl. Han Fei stared at her and couldn't move his gaze away. Hey, fatty, what are you looking at? Quote, hi, beauty. Han Fei soon realized that he shouldn't act like this. How could he be so evil as to covet such a little girl? Oh, here comes another fatty, fatter than me. Haha, I am not the only fatty in school now. Han Fei looked aside and saw a fatty who was much thinner than him and was looking at him excitedly at the moment. Han Fei's face changed. Classmates, I must tell you that I am not fat. I am just not noticeably thin. Chapter 144 A Bunch of Monsters. Chapter 144 A Bunch of Monsters. A boy holding a rod said in a low voice, I bet this fatty has a thing for Sha Shaochen. I can tell it from his eyes. I have to say I admire his courage. The little girl glared at the boy, who immediately shut up and looked up at the sky. Han Fei looked at the boy and felt so jealous. This boy was so handsome. But Han Fei immediately turned to the girl, trying to show his elegant side. Sha Shaochen, what a nice name. A cicada is dormant for years just to chirp for a single summer, as does epiphyllum bloom in a flash but waits for the entire day. Sha Shaochen narrowed her eyes. Do you know about cicadas? Ah, what a nice voice. Han Fei grinned. Her voice was really nice. There was also an iceberg-like beauty next to Sha Shaochen. Although she was good-looking too, she was not as energetic as Sha Shaochen. Han Fei paused and quickly said, I read about cicadas from an ancient book. All right, stop chattering. Han Fei, as long as you can hold out for 3 minutes under their attacks, you'll be admitted to our school. But I have to remind you that if you fail, I won't refund your tuition. The slovenly old man said proudly and seemed to be very confident about these teenagers. At this time, the little iceberg beauty who remained silent said, I'm Luo Xiaobai, a manipulator and junior great fishing master. My spiritual plant is an exotic blue cannibal flower. The fatty, who was a lot thinner than Han Fei, laughed and said, Brother, I'm Le Renquang, a junior great fishing master and armorist. My spiritual beast is an exotic spiritual clam. I hope you can hold out for 3 minutes. Then we will definitely make good brothers. Han Fei despised him in his heart. Are you so nice to me because I'm fatter than you? As for that handsome boy, he said lazily, I'm Zhang Xuanyu, a peak-level fishing master. I'm a soul warrior and my spiritual beast is an exotic bloodthirsty shark. Brother, I know you're rich. I like to make friends with rich people. May you pass the test. A cunning gleam flashed across Sha Xiaochun's eyes. I'm Sha Xiaochun, a junior great fishing master and hunter. My spiritual beast is an exotic shadow shrimp. Oh, yes, I also have a second spiritual beast, an exotic giant arowana. And, I don't like fat people. Han Fei. Han Fei was dumbfounded after hearing their self-introductions. Are great fishing masters so easy to come by? They are almost all great fishing masters. What a bunch of monsters. More importantly, each of them had an exotic spiritual beast that sounded quite awesome. And this little girl even had 2 exotic spiritual beasts. He had never heard of anyone having 2 exotic spiritual beasts. This shabby academy seemed to be full of great talents. Han Fei took a deep breath. I'm Han Fei, a junior great fishing master, as well as a spirit gatherer and soul warrior. My spiritual beast is a spirit-swallowing fish. They immediately looked at Han Fei strangely. What, a spirit-swallowing fish? The bearded man looked at Han Fei with interest. Interesting. A guy whose spiritual beast is only a spirit-swallowing fish can be both a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior. And he managed to become a great fishing master at this age in a village. He must be really talented. The bearded man asked, Han Fei, are you ready? 3 minutes, okay. Han Fei took a deep breath. Although the 4 students looked harmless, they made up all 5 major professions and all of them had exotic spiritual beasts and were almost all great fishing masters. He must be very careful. Yes, I'm ready. The bearded man shouted. Ready, go. The 4 people on the opposite side shouted at the same time, fuse. Han Fei immediately activated Fury and shouted, attach. After half a year's battle with Zhang Qin, one thing dawned on him. A soul warrior would stop at nothing. No matter what kind of enemies were in front, they would just slaughter their way through. Han Fei, who released all his strength, was very powerful. In a blink of an eye, he lifted his rod and made a strike against Zhang Xuanyu who also struck at him. But at this moment, a fatty appeared suddenly, and a giant shield appeared in his hand. Clang! He hit the shield hard, which caused a huge cloud of dust within tens of meters, but neither the fatty nor Han Fei stayed still. Han Fei was surprised, but then he noticed a figure jump up behind the fatty. Triple layered waves in furious sea. Clang, clang, clang. In an instant, Han Fei seemed to feel the surging tide. In the blink of an eye, he was attacked 3 times in a row and knocked back by 7 or 8 steps. The battle of course didn't end. Han Fei noticed that there was something darting at him through the air from behind, which seemed to be able to break his defense. In an instant, Han Fei thrust the purple bamboo rod into the ground and lay forward in a weird posture. The rod was bent and ejected toward the blade shot over from behind. Clang! Han Fei felt that the person behind him retreated. Before he had the time to take a breath of relief, however, he felt that his feet were entangled in vines. He instantly took out his double knives and chopped off the vines, and at the same time, the 7 tails behind him swept across, sweeping away the other vines that had come around. Zhang Xuanyu called out, not bad. Come, try my 7-layered waves in furious sea. That rod danced in Zhang Xuanyu's hands like a butterfly, and as it swung, there seemed to be turbulent waves dashing against him. Han Fei seemed to see a phantom of huge waves coming at him, surging layer by layer. Han Fei felt as if being surrounded by enemies from all directions. Blade Storm. Han Fei immediately protected himself with a spiritual energy protective cover and rotated like a gyro, releasing deadly blades from 360 degrees. Clank, 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 clang, 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 bam, bam, bam. For a while, the vines flew around and the glint and flash of cold steel flashed. On the far side, the beard tugged on the old man's arm. He has proven his strength. 3 minutes is too long. Now it's only been 1 minute. Han Fei was shocked. He thought that he was already invincible among his peers. But now the 4 monsters told him he was wrong. He couldn't believe they were just junior great fishing masters. Their strength was almost equal to that of a peak-level great fishing master. Han Fei twisted his body in strange postures, trying to break through the circle of the 4. But just as he was about to break out, the seemingly harmless fatty suddenly patted his armor box. Shield wall impact. Then Han Fei saw dozens of giant shield phantoms suddenly hit at him head-on. Han Fei took a deep breath and suddenly a circle appeared under his feet. A swirling water tornado appeared in the air, rolling him into the sky. Then the water tornado turned into a water vine, pulling him aside. Han Fei's face changed. The fight had just started 1 minute ago, but he had used at least 10 combat skills. The slightest bit of carelessness would make him defeated. Han Fei thought he might be able to hold out for 1 or 2 minutes, but 10 minutes seemed a bit difficult, unless... Haunting shadow. Han Fei had just landed and Sha Shaochen had already turned into a shadow and pounced at him with extremely fast speed, thrusting the dagger in her hand at him in an unimaginable angle. Is this the strength of a hunter? Han Fei felt that Fang Qing, who he met in the resource competition, could not even be considered a hunter. Compared to Sha Shaochen, she was simply trash. Scar of War Shadows. Han Fei's body suddenly overflowed with spiritual energy and he bumped against the 4 of them like a madman. Clink, clink, bam. Great strength. Han Fei stopped 10 meters away from them, and Zhang Xuanyu, the weakest among the 4, was knocked out. Le Renquang muttered, he has a very strong defense. Let me. Violent war body. Han Fei saw that the fatty dashing at him seemed to use a combat kill similar to Scar of War Shadows. Humph. How dare you laugh at my figure just now? Now let me teach you a good lesson. Han Fei also pounced at him like a missile exploding. As the 2 of them collided, there came a huge explosion. Under the impact of the huge airflow, the school gate was completely broken, the old man's chair also fell apart, and there was a huge pit at the place where the 2 collided. Le Renquang was sent flying, and Han Fei, for the first time, felt as if his 5 internal organs were wrung together. Gosh, this little fatty is strong. Thorn. Strangle. Han Fei was speechless. Not again. Can't these people give him a break? Han Fei saw within 4 or 5 meters of his feet, countless vines pop out. He swept with his 7 tails but couldn't cut them off. Sha Shaochen roared, shadow piercing. Zhang Xuanyu followed, crazy shark. Chapter 145. Can I make you a deal? Chapter 145. Can I make you a deal? Fuse. Han Fei finally said the word. He had no choice but to do so. He underestimated the geniuses in this world. He had thought that he could easily win against the 4 of them, but now it seemed that he was going to lose soon. The smoke dispersed. Zhang Xuanyu flew back dozens of meters away, covering his chest with one hand. Luo Xiaobai turned slightly pale and the vines scattered here and there in front of her. Only Sha Shaochen almost changed into a shadow, holding double daggers, hacking at Han Fei. Now she didn't look like a cute little girl at all but a tough female Tyrannosaurus. One of Han Fei's eyes turned black and the other white while he attacked extremely fast. Every single attack of Sha Shaochen was blocked by Han Fei from an incredible angle. Clanking sounds rang ceaselessly in the big pit. How dare you call me beauty? Don't you dare talk to me that way. I hate the way you look at me. And how dare you hit me? I'm gonna kill you. Sha Shaochen kept muttering. Every 5 or 6 blows she made, she muttered. But Han Fei was no longer gentle to her like before. His face looked ferocious and cruel. He even showed his white teeth as if going to jump up and bite her. Sha Shaochen frowned and then suddenly disappeared. Han Fei lowered his head and found that there was a shadow on the ground. Almost in the blink of an eye, he felt he was slashed dozens of times in the legs, lower abdomen, and back. Bam! Han Fei gathered all the spiritual energy around, which suddenly exploded around him. But that shadow appeared more than 10 meters away and turned into a human form. Then Sha Shaochen clenched her double daggers and slashed at Han Fei again. Suppress. The bearded man suddenly appeared between them, slapping Sha Shaochen away, and at the same time, stopping Han Fei's fusion with his spiritual beast. Han Fei sat down on the ground and gasped. Han Fei swallowed. Why were you attacking me so hard? Han Fei was out of breath. The little girl's perfect image in his heart was completely ruined. Is that a cute little girl? Come on, even iron-headed fish wasn't as tough as her. Now not only these 4 students, but also the bearded man and the old man were looking at him up and down with great interest. Le Renquang was out of breath too. Brother, you've passed the assessment. Despite being pale, Le Renquang rushed over and seemed to want to hug Han Fei. Thinking of the horrible result of colliding with him, Han Fei was scared. He quickly waved his hand. Don't come over. I warn you, don't come over. I don't like fat people. Le Renquang said aggrievedly, but you're fat too. Even fatter than me. Han Fei was angry. Nonsense. I used to be thin, the very thin kind, the thin and handsome kind. Le Renquang burst into laughter. Well, I used to be thin too. Zhang Xuanyu smiled while holding his rod. You're very strong. I like you, so. Han Fei, when will you treat us to dinner? Han Fei asked. Treat you to dinner? Zhang Xuanyu blinked and said, yes. Le Renquang added, yes, every new classmate will invite us to dinner. I feel I become thinner after fighting with you. Han Fei was relieved. Okay, I brought pots with me. I can cook. Le Ren was shocked. Can you cook too? Le Renquang immediately pointed his finger at the others. Look. I said that fat people can cook, and you thin people will only enjoy the fruits of others' labor. Luo Xiaobai snorted, ignored Le Renquang, and looked at Han Fei. Hello, new classmate. Han Fei rolled his eyes. I don't feel well. I feel as though my internal organs were wrung together. Sha Shaochen appeared quietly behind Han Fei. Do you want me to rub them for you? Han Fei shivered and burst into a cold sweat. He quickly got up and ran up to Le Renquang. Sha Shaochen, I warn you, don't come over. I don't hit girls. Let me rub them for you. Looking at the aggrieved look of Sha Shaochen, Han Fei trembled. Do you think I don't know what kind of a person you are? You're the most terrifying one among the 4. Wow, now we have all 5 kinds of professionals here. Han Fei looked up, only to see a middle-aged beautiful woman jump off the top of the big tree, looking up and down at him. The woman said, gee, he has an exotic contractual spiritual beast that even we haven't heard of, and that spirit-swallowing fish is also an exotic spiritual beast, right? You're both a spirit gatherer and soul warrior. Your defense power is comparable to Little Fatty, combat power is a bit stronger than Zhang Xuanyu, and speed can keep up with Shaochen. Old Bai, where did you find this little monster? The old man didn't seem to expect Han Fei to be so strong, which was completely beyond his expectations. But he still said arrogantly, he came to me himself. The bearded man laughed. Haha, our academy finally recruited 5 people. Great, I think we can go out for a big meal tonight. The old man's face suddenly changed, and he glared at the bearded man. Shut up, do you have the money? Then he looked at the mess around and said to Han Fei, the school was almost destroyed by you. Forget it, you don't have to pay. You were already a student of our Thug Academy. Han Fei looked around. It was already shabby enough and now it didn't look worse. The bearded man said helplessly, okay, then let's cook ourselves. Han Fei, let me introduce to you, this is Dean Bai of our Thug Academy. You can just call him Old Bai. I'm your instructor Xiao Zha. I'm a soul warrior and armorist. My spiritual beast is an exotic 8-armed conch. This is instructor Wenren Yu. She is a manipulator and her spiritual plant is an exotic sword grass. Hi, Dean. Hi, Mr. Xiao. Hi, Ms. Wenren. Han Fei scratched his belly. Teachers, where is my dorm? Cough, cough. Le Renquang patted Han Fei on the shoulder. Dorm. We don't have a dorm. Han Fei. Han Fei was surprised. Then where are we living? Le Renquang said carelessly, anywhere. This place is so large. Even the mountain behind is ours. You can live wherever you want. Zhang Xuanyu also came over and patted Han Fei's shoulder. You know, we only have this archway and a library building left in our school. Boom. As soon as Zhang Xuanyu said so, the archway suddenly collapsed. Han Fei, Zhang Xuanyu, everyone. Everyone was silent for a long time. Han Fei was thinking hard, trying to work out a solution. He didn't want to live in the wild like a savage. Han Fei asked, why not build some houses? Le Renquang looked at him like he was looking at a fool. It costs money to build a house. Zhang Xuanyu nodded. We don't have money. Han Fei calmly stated, I just paid 5,000 mid-quality pearls as my tuition fee. What? Le Renquang widened his eyes and Zhang Xuanyu looked at Han Fei with shining eyes like looking at a pile of mid-quality pearls. Sha Xiaochen exclaimed, wow. Even the iceberg, Luo Xiaobai, showed a startled look. Everyone looked at the old man. Wow, this old bastard is really ruthless. How could you charge him for 5,000 mid-quality pearls as the tuition fee? Old Bai rolled his eyes. I didn't ask him for this money. He gave it to me himself, okay. Cough. I've decided to take 3,000 mid-quality pearls to build our academy. It will be enough for us to renovate our school. Han Fei secretly snorted. The old man was just as sly as old Zhang. These old bastards diddled me without even batting their eyelids. However, these kinds of mysterious old men can bring me many benefits. If I hadn't hooked up with old Zhang, I wouldn't be where I am, not to mention would I be a soul warrior. So Han Fei waved his hand. 3,000 won't be enough. I'll personally contribute 7,000 more and make up 10,000. Let's renovate the school thoroughly. Quote. Old Bai was stunned. The bearded man was stunned. So were the 4 students. Old Bai quickly nodded and said, very good. So it's so decided. Let's find some people to renovate the school tomorrow. Is this kid stupid? His family must be very rich. Le Renquang put his arm around Han Fei's shoulders. Brother, may I be your friend? Zhang Xuanyu patted Han Fei on the shoulder. I can be quite sure that you will definitely be my good brother. Brother, how about going out for dinner tonight? Sha Xiaochen interrupted. Haughty, can I make you a deal? Han Fei. Han Fei was stunned. Are you serious? Didn't you just say you were gonna kill me? But now you're calling me haughty. Han Fei took a deep breath. What kind of deal? Han Fei asked bluntly. If I need someone to pay for me, you'll pay for me. If you have any trouble, don't come to me. You can't hold my hand, but I won't date you. Han Fei. Chapter 146 Geniuses Who Haven't Seen Much of Life. Chapter 146 Geniuses Who Haven't Seen Much of Life. That night, the school had planned to hold a feast to welcome Han Fei, but this plan was dismissed in the end because Old Bai didn't want to spend the money. At this moment, at the foot of the mountain, a temporary kitchen in the woods. A pearl fish was being cooked in a big pot. Han Fei proficiently threw all kinds of spices into the pot and soon, the aroma of the hot pot spread all around. Le Renquang, the so-called first chef of the Thug Academy, was following Han Fei closely and his mouth was drooling. Le Renquang asked curiously, Han Fei, isn't this a yellow ball? This thing is not tasty. Han Fei said with a smile, there are no bad foods but only bad cooks in this world. I'm making chili and sour potato. Sha Xiaochen was staring at a plate of small white shrimp, frowning from time to time. Han Fei, these shrimps are alive. Han Fei no longer took Sha Xiaochen as a cute little girl. He casually responded, that is called drunk shrimp. They've just gotten drunk now. Wait for a while. Old Bai shouted furiously, Han Fei, isn't it a waste to feed shrimp such good liquor? How can you waste this great liquor on low-level small white shrimp? Han Fei glanced at Old Bai holding the wine jar and the bearded man and said helplessly, well, can you give me my seasoning back? There is still a lot of liquor. Old Bai refused. I didn't expect low-level spiritual fruit to have such wonderful effects. I used to let them rot in the fields. Han Fei added, they are also seasoning. Only at this moment did Han Fei realize that the huge plantation outside also belonged to the Thug Academy. It almost occupied 1/3 of the island. He couldn't understand why the Blue Sea town would give them such a large area. This old man is so stupid. Why didn't he lease it to earn some money? Old Bai questioned, why are there so few low-level spiritual fruits? Didn't you dig some from outside? Han Fei said crossly, I brought them from the village. Old Bai was surprised. You said you came from the Heavenly Water Village. Do you know the old man in the plantation of the village? Han Fei took out old Yang's letter from his pocket. This is old Yang's letter to you. Huh, old Bai took the letter in surprise. As soon as he saw the words, old bastard, on the letter, he knew that it must be from old Zhang. Old Bai was not angry but wondered, why didn't you take out this letter early? Han Fei smiled bitterly. Old Zhang said that I was barely qualified to enter the 4th Academy, so I wanted to try it out. But it turns out that what he said is true. Old Bai said leisurely, oh, it's good that you know your distance. If I had known that it was old Zhang who asked you to come here, you would have had to hold out for an hour to pass the assessment. Han Fei. Not far away, the middle-aged beautiful woman, Wenren Yu, and the iceberg, Luo Xiaobai, were in front of the barbecue grill staring at the golden prawns, mussels, and various roasted fruits on the grill while sniffing their noses from time to time. Han Fei walked over, brushed oil on the food again, and then smeared the garlic sauce on them. The two of them immediately swallowed saliva. Han Fei turned back with a jerk. Sha Xiaochen, the drunk shrimp aren't ready yet. Wait for a while. Sha Xiaochen looked down. I didn't. As she opened her mouth, however, a small white shrimp jumped out of her mouth. Han Fei instructed, Fat man, turn down the heat. If you overcook it, it won't taste good. Le Renquang laughed. Now, you are the fatty. I am thinner than you. Han Fei. After a moment, the hot pot, barbecue, and dishes were served one by one. Han Fei said, okay, our first sumptuous dinner has been made. We can start eating. Before Han Fei finished, he found that Le Renquang and Sha Xiaochen's mouths were already full of food. Le Renquang was holding a garlic prawn and kept stuffing food into his mouth. Old Bai and Beard Xiao took a sip of liquor and took a bite of the mussels, beaming with joy. Sha Xiaochen's eyes were shining. It's so delicious, Xiao Bai. Don't let Quang cook anymore. Let Han Fei cook for us in the future. Zhang Xuanyu clicked his tongue and nodded. Yes, their culinary skills are like clouds and mud. Le Renquang was not annoyed. I am learning from him. Only our fat people can cook such delicious food. Han Fei's face was all black. I say it again, I am not a fatty. My being fat is only temporary. Luo Xiaobai was calm as usual. She didn't eat with her hands but ate bit by bit. It's delicious. No one had time to speak to Han Fei. Han Fei, dumbfounded, watched this group of gluttons eating up all the dishes like a whirlwind sweeping away scattered clouds. And he only ate 2 garlic prawns. After the meal, everyone became Han Fei's friend. Even iceberg Luo Xiaobai smiled at him. Having dined and wined to satiety, old Bai said, I'm going to bed, as he wandered away. Xiao Zhan and Wenren Yu left too. Han Fei asked, where do we sleep at night? Zhang Xuanyu said casually, Quang and I are both sleeping in a cave. Shall we dig a cave for you? Le Renquang waved his hand. He can sleep with us. Han Fei, do you want to sleep with us in the cave? Han Fei shivered and shook his head hard. How about the president and the teachers? Le Renquang said enviously, President sleeps in the library. Han Fei turned to Sha Xiaochen who said, Xiaobai and I also sleep in a cave. Han Fei smiled. Can I share the cave with you too? Suddenly, 2 murderous stares shot at him. Sha Xiaochen smiled and said, Little brother, I don't mind. Anyway, you will become our little sister the next day. Zhang Xuanyu and Le Renquang couldn't help but clamp their legs in terror and shut up. However, they secretly gave Han Fei a thumbs up. Buddy, you are the bravest man we've ever seen. Han Fei smiled awkwardly. Forget it, I will build a house for myself. Le Renquang immediately lost interest. How troublesome. It's better to sleep in a cave. Han Fei glanced around and asked, can I cut down the trees here? Zhang Xuanyu snapped his fingers. You have the money. You have the final say. The whole forest is yours. You can cut as much as you want. Han Fei immediately came forward to cut a big tree. I finally changed from an ordinary person to a cultivator. How can I live in a cave? Isn't it even worse than before? It's impossible for me to live in a cave, especially with 2 men. As Han Fei kept raising his arm and hacking, woodboards appeared in front of the others piece by piece. Luo Xiaobai was surprised. Are you really building a house? Zhang Xuanyu exclaimed. the new classmate is awesome. He seems to know everything. Sha Xiaochen drew near and asked, can you build one for me? Han Fei responded, one man's power is limited. Let's share one house, okay. Okay, but only after you become my sister. Although you're a bit fat, I can still accept you. Han Fei carried big chunks of wood and jumped up and down. Then everyone realized that this guy was going to build a treehouse. They immediately got interested. They had slept in a tree before, but no one thought about building a house in the tree. Half an hour later, a treehouse was built by Han Fei. He laid mattresses and quilts on the floor and decorated the house with a few rubies that illuminated the treehouse brightly. Seeing this, no one wanted to go back to the cave. Han Fei sat on the trunk. Why aren't you leaving? Sha Xiaochen's eyes lit up. She jumped onto the tree and said to Han Fei, let me try it out. Then she lay down inside and rolled around happily several times. It's so comfortable. I don't want to go back to the cave anymore. I'm going to sleep in the tree tonight. Okay. I'm going to bed. Good night. Han Fei shouted quickly, hey. Wait a minute. Didn't you say you'd just try it out? Why are you sleeping in it? Sha Xiaochen said with a sly smile, I've tried it out. You are too heavy for this treehouse. You need to find a bigger tree. Look, that tree is suitable for you, thick and big. Okay, I'm going to sleep now. Don't disturb me, or I will summon my giant arowana to bite you. Han Fei was trembling with anger. Sha Xiaochen, you've gone too far. I have been tolerating you for too long. Okay, I'll build another one for you. I'm doing it for your own good. Fatties need to exercise more. You should do more exercise to become as thin as Quang. Han Fei was speechless. When did Le Renquang become his weight loss goal? Half a month later, the school buildings were finally built. The archway of the Thug Academy was rebuilt and the plaque of Thug Academy was hung up again. During the last half a month, Han Fei served as a construction supervisor, checking the drawings every day. Thinking of what he did in the last half a month, he almost burst into tears. I'm here to cultivate, not to build a house. Now Han Fei was squatting with the 4 others, and the 5 of them stared at the library building in a daze. Le Renquang asked, why is the library building the tallest and most beautiful building in the whole school? Han Fei said casually, only in this way can the essence of a school be embodied. Sha Xiaochen held her chin in her hand and sighed. But nobody comes to our school. There are only 5 of us here. Why do people all go to the other 3 academies? Han Fei was speechless. Don't you know why? You guys have got no money and no people. The students live in caves and the president lives in the library. If old Zhang hadn't asked me to come here, I wouldn't have come either. At this time, old Bai, Xiaozan, and Wenren Yu came out of the library. Xiaozan said coldly, okay, today is your first class. Chapter 147 The First Class. Chapter 147, The First Class. The first lesson in the Thug Academy began on such a plain day. This was a day destined to be extraordinary. No one knew, because of this lesson, how many heavenly talents the Thug Academy would produce in the endless years to come. Xiaozan, who had just come out of poverty, was like a different person compared to the gentle uncle who was peddling bull conch when they first met. Xiaozan walked down the stairs step by step and looked at everyone coldly. I know you must be eager to go to class in the fishery to improve your strength, but I want to ask you a question first. Have you ever thought why you should become a fishing master? Why should you become stronger? Can anyone tell me? Xiaozan roared out his last sentence, which stunned the 5 people who were still feeling lazy. Is this still that gentle uncle they remembered? Luo Xiaobai took a step forward. I don't need a reason to become stronger. I want to become stronger just because I want it. Xiaozan asked again, is there any other answer? Zhang Xuanyu answered, this is a world where power talks. If you don't want to be bullied, want to stand out, and want to live the life you want, you have to become stronger. Only in this way will you avoid being trampled on by others. Xiaozan turned his eyes to Sha Xiaochen. Sha Xiaochen, how about you? Sha Xiaochen smiled. For freedom. Xiaozan snorted coldly. For freedom. Then Le Renquang, what about you? Are you for food? Le Renquang smiled embarrassedly. Then Xiao Zhan turned his eyes to Han Fei. Han Fei blinked. The world is so big. I want to see it. Huh. The others all looked at Han Fei. This reason is strange yet justified. They couldn't rebut it. Xiao Zhan sneered. You don't know anything. You think you are geniuses, so you are so proud of yourselves. You don't even know that you are as small as ants. This world is never lacking in talent. Maybe you will rank among the top 100, top 10 strong masters, or even become the strongest in the Blue Sea town if you transfer from the Thug Academy to any other academy, but so what? Even if you become the strongest, you're still an ant. You know nothing about this world, Xiao Zhan said seriously, and his voice was majestic. He looked at everyone. No matter what you do it for, but first of all, it is because of responsibility. Everyone wants to cultivate successfully, to win a carefree life, but who can do it? I hope you can remember the word responsibility over the next few years. Xiao Zhan pointed to the sky. Once, the Thug Academy won a lot of fame and glory. Once, the Thug Academy had countless students in the 1,000-star city. Once, the Thug Academy swept the surrounding 36 towns and was invincible in the 1,000-star city. The Thug Academy used to be a symbol of strength and a cradle from geniuses, but do you know why the academy declined in the end? Han Fei widened his eyes. What? The 4th Academy used to be so strong. Swept the 36 towns and was invincible in the 1,000-star city. He must be bragging. Xiao Zhan snorted coldly. Before, I was as naive as you. I was arrogant and thought the Thug Academy was invincible. However, when we were strong enough to know some secrets, my companions who were as bright as stars all died or disappeared. No one could stop it. We were so vulnerable that we couldn't even withstand a single blow. Xiao Zhan's voice suddenly fell deep. At that time, the Thug Academy declined and we almost lost all our teachers and students, and the past glory was long gone. At that time, I was thinking about a question. Why should we become fishing masters? Why were we fishing? What was the point of fishing? Han Fei and others all looked stern and listened carefully. What was the secret that destroyed a school that used to be so powerful? Xiao Zhan's eyes turned red. The infinite ocean below gives you strength, with which you are becoming stronger. But you don't know why you want to be stronger. I will tell you this answer, not now but when you can sweep the surrounding 36 towns again. Hiss. For the first time, Han Fei and the 4 others felt huge pressure. Sweep the 36 towns. Han Fei didn't know until today that there were other towns around. He knew he was strong, but he wouldn't be strong enough to overcome all of his peers. Especially after meeting Sha Xiaochen and the other 3, he became more humble. But now Xiao Zhan set them a target. This target was extremely difficult to achieve in their view. Overcome the 36 towns. Would there be such a genius in the town? After the lecture, Xiao Zhan pointed to the library and then to the campus. The Thug Academy has no requirement for its students' origin. Whether you come from the city or from the countryside, even if you are a fish, as long as you dare to come, we dare to teach. Provided that you won't betray the Thug Academy. If you dare to betray, we will try our best to kill you. Xiao Zhan took 6 brocade sachets from his arms and looked at the students with a sneer. I have 6 brocade sachets in my hand, and the 6th one has the first secret about the world. The first 5 are the goals you need to accomplish now. If you can't open the first 5 brocade sachets, you don't have to think about becoming stronger. Because it doesn't make sense. You will never have real strength. Luo Xiaobai reached out and looked solemn. Please give us the 5 brocade sachets. Xiao Zonggao smiled ferociously. You want the brocade sachets? No, you're not even qualified to get the first brocade sachet. The first lesson today is to make you understand that you are very ignorant and we can have no qualifications to be arrogant. Everyone. Xiao Zhan turned around and walked up the stairs, while Old Bai slowly walked down. He glanced at everyone and said, Xiao Zhan is finished. You will train for these 6 brocade sachets in the next 3 years, up to exactly 4 years. When you are qualified to get these 6 brocade sachets, you can graduate. At this moment, everyone looked at Xiao Zhan. It would take them 4 years to uncover a secret about this world, which sounded worthwhile. For some reason, everyone felt that it was a secret worth 4 years to learn. Old Bai said with a smile, you are all heavenly talents. Let me make a long story short. Do you know why are the 5 of you respectively engaged in one of the 5 major professions? That's because we developed such a perfect combination through countless attempts and sacrifices in the long history of fighting with the ocean. In the future, you will be the best companions. You can safely leave your back to your companions. Therefore, you must be very familiar with each other, so familiar that there are almost no secrets between you. Of course, everyone has secrets in fighting techniques, spiritual beasts, and contractual spiritual beasts, and so forth, but try not to have any secrets, because that may affect the cooperation among you. With that said, the old man looked at Sha Shaochen. Sha Shaochen, every time you fight, you only use shadow shrimp, but where is your giant arowana? Then, the old man looked at Han Fei. Han Fei, you have been trying to hide the secret that you have an exotic spirit swallowing fish. In combat, you only use your contractual spiritual beast. But did you know, throughout history, there were many others who had yin-yang eyes? Han Fei was shocked. Damn, has he found out about it? It seems that this thug academy is more mysterious than I thought. The old man turned to Luo Xiaobai. Luo Xiaobai, have you told others that your blue cannibal flower can devour spiritual energy? Le Renquang, do they know that you have an exotic spiritual heritage, madness spiritual heritage? Zhang Xuanyu, have you ever shown that your bloodthirsty shark can attack a soul? Everyone changed their faces. Their long-hidden secrets were all exposed. Their hearts welled up with shock and horror. So their secrets have already been seen through. At the same time, they looked at each other. All had secrets, all had their own chances, and all were sly jerks. Old Bai continued, from today, within half a month, I will not arrange any study tasks for you. All you need to do is to get familiar with each other, familiar with each other's secrets, familiar with each other's combat skills. After this half a month, what I need to see is a team that cooperates perfectly, a team that knows one another's intentions from the wink of an eye. Luo Xiaobai said proudly, yes, President. The others all bowed their heads as if thinking about something, including Han Fei. Did they know I'm practicing the indestructible body art? Ren Tianfei said that I would be doomed if it was found out by others. Chapter 148 Secrets of the 5. Chapter 148 Secrets of the 5. In the woods, the 5 of them were sitting in the grass staring at each other speechlessly. Zhang Xuanyu chuckled awkwardly. It seems that we can have nothing hidden with each other now. Then let's talk about our secrets. Le Renquang suggested. Well, you first. I am only a fishing master, but you 4 are all great fishing masters. You must have greater secrets than I. Han Fei was still worrying about the indestructible body thing, so he said, let me talk first. The others immediately looked at Han Fei. I have 3 secrets. Zhang Xuanyu gaped. Gosh, why do you have so many secrets? Le Renquang added, big shot. I'm no match for you. Sha Shaochen looked at Han Fei and her eyes full of curiosity. The first one is about my spiritual beast. It's an exotic spirit swallowing fish. Just as the president said, when it fuses with me, my eyes will change and I can see the track of the opponent's action and attacks, so theoretically I will not be hurt. But my fusion has a defect that is that I become extremely bloodthirsty. When I first fused with my spiritual beast, I bit a person to death. Ew, did you eat that person? Sha Shaochen shivered. She dared not imagine the scene. Han Fei rolled his eyes. Do I look like a man-eater? Sha Shaochen snorted. Who knows? On the day you entered the school, you couldn't block my attack until you fused with your spiritual beast and activated your yin-yang divine eyes. At that time, you looked as if you were going to eat me. Han Fei. Luo Xiaobai broke the silence. What about the second secret? The second one can't be said to be a secret. I accidentally obtained a combat skill called the Incomplete Monograph on 108 Ways of Body Polishing. Practicing this combat skill can shut 108 acupoints of the human body and 36 apertures, thus preventing spiritual energy from overflowing, which strengthens the body. Le Renquang exclaimed immediately, oh my god. No wonder your body is so sturdy. After the collision with you that day, I almost died. Han Fei scratched his belly. Actually, the more I practice this combat skill, the less effect it has unless I get the complete version of it. For now, my body is probably able to withstand the attack of mortal-level, high-quality weapons. In the future, it may be stronger, but at most, it will resist the attacks of low-quality magic weapons. Everyone was speechless. What the hell? His body can resist the attacks of low-quality magic weapons. Isn't that good enough? What else do you expect? Zhang Xuanyu asked jealously. The third secret. Han Fei scratched his belly embarrassedly. I used to be a thin and handsome man. I accidentally gained a lot of energy that I couldn't digest. It accumulated in my body and made me fat. As I become stronger, I will slowly consume the energy and become handsome again. Zhang Xuanyu said disdainfully. Go to hell, can you be as handsome as me even if you lose weight? Han Fei choked. Humph, gigolo. Zhang Xuanyu was furious. Shut up. Under my handsome appearance, there is also my irresistible masculinity. Masculinity my ass. How old are you? Le Renquang was frightened. No, Han Fei, are you going to become a thin person in the future? Please don't. Then I'll be the only fatty again. Sha Xiaochen frowned. Shut up. Han Fei only told us 2 secrets. The third one doesn't count. Quang, it's your turn. Little did they know that old Bai, Xiaozan, and Wen Renyu were eavesdropping in the grass not far away. Wen Renyu asked, Old Bai, are yin-yang divine eyes very powerful? With them, Han Fei can even see the track of the opponent's action and attacks. Have you seen them? Old Bai rolled his eyes. No, I just read about these kinds of eyes in an ancient book, but the record is not detailed enough. I didn't know they were so powerful. Xiaozan added, then what about the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing? What is that? This does exist and seems to be a venerable level combat skill. Unfortunately, it is incomplete. If it were a full version, it'd be hard to imagine how sturdy his body could become. Xiaozan licked his lips. Yes, he can block the attacks of mortal level, high-quality weapons, although he is only a great fishing master. I can't imagine how strong he will be when he becomes a dangling fisher. On this side, Le Renquang said, actually, I don't know much about madness spiritual heritage. When my spiritual heritage was tested for the first time, it showed the color of reddish yellow. The teacher said that it was only a level 3 spiritual heritage. Later, I progressed too fast, so I went to test again and found that the color of my spiritual heritage changed to yellowish red. Then after looking up many ancient books, I finally found out from an ancient book that my spiritual heritage is an exotic one. It is a spiritual heritage that can grow and may reach level 9 when it's fully grown. Huh, the others gasped. A level 9 spiritual heritage. How strong is that? Han Fei was also shocked. That's unfair. I have to work so hard to earn aura to upgrade, but you can upgrade automatically. However, Red, why did I see a touch of black last time I tested my spiritual heritage? Han Fei asked, do you still have that ancient book? The others immediately looked at Han Fei, who hurriedly waved his hand. Mine is yellow, a level 3 spiritual heritage. Huh, only level 3. They were shocked again. Zhang Xuanyu said, with a level 3 spiritual heritage, you can cultivate so fast. Mine is level 6. Han Fei was also shocked. His spiritual heritage is level 6. Then why wasn't he been taken to the city? Quang, what are the characteristics or functions of your madness spiritual heritage? With it, I became a big eater. And you can't anger me. Once I'm pissed, something very serious will happen. How serious? I'll become crazy. It's about the same as Han Fei's bloodthirsty impulse. I can't control myself and my strength, defense, and combat power will be at least doubled. Zhang Xuanyu waved his hand. Keep talking. I need to go out to get some fresh air. Luo Xiaobai said coldly, sit down. It's your turn. Zhang Xuanyu said carelessly, I don't have many cool abilities as you guys, okay. My spiritual heritage is at level 6, not high nor low, far away from a real genius. But my spiritual beast, bloodthirsty shark, can drink my enemy's blood power in combat. In addition, it can also launch mental attacks. But if the other party's mental strength is strong, it may not work. Han Fei exclaimed, wow, you can steal your enemy's blood power in combat. If I were your enemy, the first thing I would do in combat is kill you. Le Renquang nodded. I agree. Me too. Sha Xiaochen agreed, yes. Luo Xiaobai nodded. It's my turn now. My spiritual heritage is green. I don't know what kind of an exotic spiritual heritage it is, but it should also be able to grow up too. My spiritual beast is a blue cannibal flower. It can devour my enemy's spiritual energy and inject toxins into the enemy's skin when winding around the enemy. Besides, I can channel the plants within thousands of meters of me and make them my eyes. For example, the president and the teachers are eavesdropping on us. Everyone. Not far away, the three people blushed. God knew you had such an ability. What's wrong with our eavesdropping? Did we break any law? Wenren Yu said helplessly, these little monsters. Xiao Zhan grinned. Not bad. Our former students were monsters too. The students were speechless, but it didn't matter if they eavesdropped. They would have to tell them these secrets anyway. Then everyone looked at Sha Xiaochen. Sha Xiaochen said a little shyly, Han Fei's eyelids twitched. Speak decently. Sha Xiaochen glared at Han Fei. My spiritual heritage is colorless. At first, everyone thought I had no spiritual heritage. Because others cannot see it, I don't know if it can grow. I seem to have the ability of mesmerizing others, but I'm not sure. Because my ability is more effective for fish. It can prevent fish from actively attacking me. The others gasped. Colorless. Sha Xiaochen nodded a little sadly. This colorless spiritual heritage caused her a lot of trouble. Zhang Xuanyu clicked his tongue. No wonder when I saw you for the first time, I was so attracted by you. Le Renquang blinked. But why was I not charmed? Maybe because you also have an exotic spiritual heritage. Just like me, when Han Fei saw Sha Xiaochen for the first time, he was drooling. Han Fei denied, I wasn't. Sha Xiaochen thrust a dagger into the ground. Do you guys want to listen or not? Okay, please go on. Han Fei was scared. Why did she draw a dagger so easily? Did she really have a propensity for violence? Sha Xiaochen continued, I have two spiritual beasts. The ability of Shadow Shrimp, as everyone sees, is to attack like a shadow. It can make me shuttle like a shadow, so I chose to be a hunter. As for the giant arowana, I don't know its abilities. All I know is that it can cry and bite. After fusing with it, I always feel that I'm going to blow out. So, the fusion time is extremely short. I can't even hold out for 5 minutes. The eavesdropping trio. Wenren Yu looked at Old Bai. I haven't heard of a giant arowana before. Xiao Zhan echoed, neither have I. Old Bai frowned. I've seen it once. It's so strong that I can't describe it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought Sha Xiaochen back. Chapter 149 Sha Xiaochen is sick. Chapter 149 Sha Xiaochen is sick. After everyone had finished speaking, they saw Han Fei and Zhang Xuanyu hugging each other and shaking. Sha Xiaochen spat. Gross. Han Fei snorted. I don't want to talk to the three of you who all have exotic spiritual heritages that can grow. Can't you be normal people? Tell me, are you actually from the Thousand-Star City, or where? Luo Xiaobai muttered, no comment. Zhang Xuanyu sighed, I understand your feeling. But, Fei, you are worse than me. You only have a level 3 spiritual heritage. Han Fei's brain was working rapidly. Having a spiritual heritage that can grow up is a good excuse to hide the existence of the demon purification pot. So he said, actually, I want to say that my spiritual heritage can also grow. It just needs an awful lot of spiritual energy. Go away. Zhang Xuanyu kicked Han Fei away and squatted on the ground sadly drawing circles. Sha Xiaochen was curious. Really? Han Fei scratched his belly. I'm not sure. Perhaps. But the color of my spiritual heritage is not as colorful as yours. Mine is yellow, like those of most normal people. Luo Xiaobai asked, has your spiritual heritage ever upgraded? Han Fei nodded. Yes. Its first upgrade was when I ate seabed spiritual fruit, and its second upgrade was when I got a chance and absorbed a lot of spiritual energy. Han Fei thought, I'm not lying, am I? If my spiritual heritage upgrades again, I won't have to explain. Otherwise, they will suspect me. Suddenly, Zhang Xuanyu said, does this count? Yes. Zhang Xuanyu hesitated. Then I think mine can upgrade too. When it was first tested, it was at level 5. Han Fei kicked back. FCK off. I don't want to talk to you anymore. The eavesdropping trio's faces turned green. That's enough. Are you showing off to us? Old Bai said ponderingly, perhaps this is God's will. Otherwise, how could these guys happen to come to our school at the same time? Xiaozan said crossly, I don't want to see them for now. I'm going to sell bull conches. Wenren Yu also got up and walked away. I don't want to see them either. I'm going to work. Old Bai mumbled, do you think I want to see them? ... After the meeting, Han Fei felt that his classmates were not simple. Why did they all have spiritual heritages that could grow? And why weren't they taken to the Thousand-Star City? Han Fei looked left and right and felt only Le Renquang looked gullible. Han Fei said with a smiley face, didn't the president say we should get familiar with each other? Let's have a big meal together. Otherwise, we may not have time in the future. Le Renquang quickly raised a hand. I agree. The other three clicked their tongues. They couldn't resist the temptation of food, so they nodded. Han Fei laughed. Fatty, let's go. Let's go to the plantation to pick up some fresh low-level spiritual fruits. Han Fei knew that the other three wouldn't be interested. Le Renquang was their cook before Han Fei came, so he was the only one willing to go to the plantation. On the way, Han Fei put his arm around Le Renquang's shoulders. Hey, Fatty, when did you enter the school? Le Renquang patted his chest. Haha, I was the first to come here. They all came behind me. Oh, you were the first, so when you came, there were no other students in the school. Le Renquang recalled and then said sadly, yes. You don't know how miserable the school was. When I had just come, we had no food but basked in the sun and ate low-level spiritual fruits to allay hunger. We were really poor at that time. I don't know why the dean and teachers didn't go to the fishery to catch fish to make money. I really don't understand. Han Fei asked again, what about the others? Le Renquang was very talkative, so he chatted all the way. Xiaobai was brought by Ms. Wenren. I was really happy to have a classmate when she came, but Xiaobai was always silent and kept to herself. But she is really strong. When I practiced with Xiaobai, I was always... Han Fei's eyes turned. Oh, was she brought by Ms. Wenren personally? Then she must have a strong background. Le Renquang laughed. No, except that you came to our school yourself, we were all brought here by the teachers. I was brought here by the president himself. At that time, I was competing with others to eat fish. You know what, I ate 17 fish alone. The president happened to pass by and maybe he was shocked by my talent, so I was brought in. Han Fei forced a smile. Are you kidding me? Ate 17 fish at once. They must have thought you were an idiot, so he brought you back. Le Renquang turned his head and smiled. Of course, it was mainly because of my other talents. Take Zhang Xuanyu for example. He was brought back from outside the level 2 fishery by Mr. Xiaozan. It is said that he drifted to our town from another town alone. Have you seen the triple-layered waves in Furious Sea? He created it himself. What? Han Fei was stunned. He drifted here from another town. And he created his own combat skill. Le Renquang said admiringly, yes, when he created it, he was only an intermediate fishing master. He's great, isn't he? Han Fei took a deep breath. Wow, this kind of thing can't be done by ordinary people. And this guy drifted here from another town. Everyone knew it was very dangerous at sea, not to mention that it was so hard to travel from one town to another. Seeing Han Fei gape, Le Renquang patted his shoulder. Don't be shocked. That's not a big deal. Sha Xiaochen is more horrible. Han Fei swallowed. Did she also drift here? Le Renquang looked at Han Fei helplessly. No, Sha Xiaochen was brought here by the president himself a month ago, but I'll tell you a secret. Don't tell the others. Le Renquang whispered in Han Fei's ear, the secret is that Sha Xiaochen is sick. Han Fei paused and looked at him strangely. Although she does seem a little bit abnormal, is it bad for us to talk about her behind her back? Han Fei thought to himself, I thought this fatty is simple-minded. It turns out that he is cunning. Le Renquang quickly waved his hand. No, she is sick indeed. Han Fei recalled how Sha Xiaochen ferociously ran after and hacked at him and couldn't help but laugh. Is it because she's sick so she has to hack her enemies to death? Le Renquang looked at Han Fei in amazement. Were you aware? Han Fei. Le Renquang whispered. Sha Xiaochen fell ill on the first day of her arrival and almost slashed Zhang Xuanyu to death. Fortunately, Mr. Xiaozan stopped her. You wouldn't believe it, she ran after and slashed at Mr. Xiaozan almost the whole day. Looking at Le Renquang's horrified face, Han Fei doubted the story. Really? You must be kidding. Le Renquang patted his belly. I swear, I'm not lying. Luo Xiaobai is fine except for having few words and being a bit fierce. Zhang Xuanyu is very easygoing. Only Sha Xiaochen, oh, I once saw her glowing red all over like a demon. It was really scary. Fortunately, the president stopped her in time. Han Fei's eyelids twitched. Really? Le Renquang said with a smile. President said that Sha Xiaochen had unstable power in her body, so she needed to vent, and it would be fine after she vented. In fact, she is not a bad girl. After she found out that she almost hacked Zhang Xuanyu to death, she wept secretly. Well, it's great that you have come. Sha Xiaochen always tried to get me when she needed to vent. Your physique is stronger than me. This job will be yours from now on. Phew, Han Fei was dumbfounded. What if she hacked me to death? Le Renquang grinned. Relax, she won't. She just needs to vent through battle. She wasn't ill these past few days, all right. Don't worry. Han Fei. Chapter 150 I'll stand still. Chapter 150. I'll stand still. The more Han Fei thought about it, the more he was scared. So I'll have to act as a meat shield from now on. But then he realized, did it mean that Sha Xiaochen had grown up in such bitter torture since her childhood? However, from the entry assessment, he could tell that Sha Xiaochen's combat power was definitely the strongest among all the students. Even after he fused with his spiritual beast, he was equal to her. It seemed that he should continue to strengthen his body. At the dinner table, the hot pot had not yet begun to cook, and Sha Xiaochen had carried a 2-meter-long bowl conch back. Zhang Xuanyu exclaimed, "Oh, Sha Xiaochen, did you steal Mr. Xiaozan's bowl conch?" Sha Xiaochen smiled slyly. Anyway, he doesn't need to sell bowl conches now. Let's eat bowl conch hot pot tonight. Han Fei looked at Sha Xiaochen strangely and said, pretending to be casual, this stuff is not easy to cook. Meat is not easy to stew tender. Sha Xiaochen snorted, as long as the fire is big enough. With that, she waved her dagger, sparks flew, and the conch shell was cut broken by her. She proficiently wielded the dagger and a huge piece of bull conch meat was minced into hundreds of pieces in the blink of an eye and it fell into the big pot. Han Fei looked at the pot full of meat and froze. It seems we need to change to a bigger pot. Le Renquang nodded in agreement. Yes, there isn't enough food every time. Luo Xiaobai said coldly, the more we cultivate, the more energy you need, so it's normal for us to eat more. Han Fei doubted this. But I heard we can intake spiritual energy instead of eating food. Sha Xiaochen smiled while stirring the soup in the pot. Although spiritual energy is important, there are many things that spiritual energy can't replace, at least not now. So we still have to eat food so that we can cultivate faster than others. Han Fei had never heard of this before. He thought that spiritual energy was everything and eating food was just for satisfying one's appetite. It turned out that he was wrong. Han Fei shook his head and smiled. Yes, hunger breeds discontent. This rule applies everywhere. At the dinner table, everyone was glutting themselves with delicacies. Luo Xiaobai broke the silence. Since we know each other's secret, then we should be familiar with each other's combat skills. Han Fei, the four of us came earlier than you, so we are already quite familiar with each other. However, you have just come and haven't shown us many of your abilities and combat skills. Han Fei nodded and asked, did we forget something? Does a team need to have a name? Le Renquang nodded. Yes, should we make a name? We are a team. How about Crazy Team? Zhang Xuanyu gave a nasty look. It sounds uncultured and rustic. I think Myth Team is good. Sha Xiaochen added, Secret Team. We all have secrets. Zhang Xuanyu was helpless. No, it sounds weird. How about Thug Team? It echoes the name of our school. Han Fei nodded. This is good, but the word, team, sounds too plain. How about Thug Legend? We will become legends in the Blue Sea Town in the future. Zhang Xuanyu raised his hand and said to Han Fei, I like this name. Give me 5. Sha Xiaochen frowned. Tacky. Le Renquang said happily, hey, this name is pretty good. Thug legend, it sounds like we are all thugs in this team. Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. I don't find the thug part special, but I like the word legend. Let's vote by a show of hands. The three boys immediately raised their hands. Sha Xiaochen picked up her dagger. Quang Quang, you're getting bolder. Believe it or not, I can hack you to death. As they laughed and talked, the name of their team was decided as Thug Legend. In the endless years to come, they had quarreled about this matter for countless times. Everyone blamed Han Fei for this silly name. After the meeting, they became closer. In the next half-month, however, everyone would be beaten terribly by the other four with a variety of combat skills and spiritual beasts. One day, today it was Han Fei's turn to be beaten by the other four again. At this moment, dust flew around in the huge field at the foot of the mountain. Le Renquang was angry. That's too much. This guy's defense power is too strong. Zhang Xuanyu swung his long rod at Han Fei. Blood and qi burn. Being attacked by Zhang Xuanyu, Han Fei felt hot all over as if his blood was boiling. He could feel his blood and qi was losing every time he was attacked. Han Fei said crossly, Zhang Xuanyu, wait and see. When it's your turn, I will beat the hell out of you. Sha Xiaochen shouted. Shadow explosion. There were shadows that filled the ground and the air. Numerous Sha Xiaochen shadows appeared and his eyes were almost dazzled by shining glints of the countless daggers. Clang, clang, clang. The water shield under Han Fei's foot was shattered, and he waved the purple bamboo rod as fast as wind but was still stabbed dozens of times by Sha Xiaochen. At first, Sha Xiaochen was afraid of hurting Han Fei, so she just hacked at him. Later, she discovered that Han Fei's defense power was very strong, so she began to stab him. Fortunately, he had strong defensive power. Otherwise, he would have been dead. Now his body was covered with holes that were all left by her. But Sha Xiaochen wouldn't use all her strength when she was fighting others. Even Le Renquang couldn't resist Sha Xiaochen's storm-like attacks. Han Fei seized the opportunity and suddenly thrust Zhang Xuanyu with his rod. The latter's face changed slightly. However, when Zhang Xuanyu saw a vine entwine over, a smile immediately appeared on his face. You won't be able to hit me. Han Fei was annoyed. At this time, he understood why the manipulator must be the first to be killed. Manipulators were too hard to deal with. As long as he was still around, he could remotely support any teammate at any time. Waterfall. Han Fei deliberately let Le Renquang bump him into the air, and at the same time, he activated the water control technique. And a mist of water pounced at Luo Xiaobai. Bloom. A big mouth suddenly appeared under Luo Xiaobai's feet, and a huge cannibal flower swallowed her and then closed its mouth. Han Fei. Ha ha. Han Fei, flying in the sky, suddenly turned pale. Why is Sha Xiaochen squatting on my stomach? Damn, I'm doomed. Then Han Fei was beaten to the ground and the four others took the opportunity and came up to beat him up. After a moment, Han Fei said crossly, why did you hit your face? Sha Xiaochen, you are too much. I have never beaten your face. Sha Xiaochen pretended to be delicate. Fei Fei, do you have the heart to hit my face? Han Fei waved his hands impatiently. Sha Xiaochen, if you do this again, I'll kiss you. Sha Xiao widened her eyes. Before you do that, I'll stab you to death. When they were lying on the ground for a rest, Xiaozan suddenly popped out of the forest. He looked at the exhausted students and said flatly, take a break. Later, if you can hold out for 10 minutes under my attack, you will get the first brocade sachet. Everyone's eyes lit up. Could they get the first brocade sachet now? Le Renquang asked, teacher, will you save some strength? Xiaozan grinned. I'll use the strength of a dangling fisher. Everyone. Zhang Xuanyu wailed. No. Teacher, I haven't become a great fishing master yet. Xiao Zonggao chuckled. Do you want to go to the fisheries? Do you want to go fishing? Do you want to catch a contractual spiritual beast? Do you want to go treasure hunting? If you do, try to hold out for 10 minutes under my attack. By the way, I'll stand still. Chapter 151 The First Brocade Sachet. Chapter 151 The First Brocade Sachet. Xiaozan's words shocked the 5 people present. They were only great fishing masters and one was not yet a great fishing master. How could they win against a dangling fisher? But Luo Xiaobai said without hesitation, okay. Sha Xiaochun's eyes lit up. Great, I happen to want to try. Han Fei was also looking forward to it. He wanted to know what the strength of a dangling fisher was like. Only Le Renquang muttered, I am just an armorist. It's up to you to fight. Wenren Yu looked at Old Bai. After reaching a certain level of strength, the number won't make any difference, right? Old Bai replied, you haven't experienced the battles we used to experience. The level gap is not a big deal. Having the whole set of the 5 major professions, they should be able to kill a dangling fisher, not to mention hold on for 10 minutes under his attack. Wenren Yu frowned. No, I haven't, but I have never seen any junior great fishing master defeating a dangling fisher. In the field, the 5 of them were ready for the fight. Luo Xiaobai announced the beginning of the battle. Start. As Luo Xiaobai shouted, the battle began. Everyone yelled in unison, fuse. Han Fei muttered, attach. Although Han Fei now had some control over his fusion with the twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fish, it was not enough, so he didn't fuse with them from the very beginning. Luo Xiaobai began the attack. Bind. Countless flower vines shot out from all directions, binding Xiaozan's limbs, waist, and neck. Luo Xiaobai added, spirit devouring. Sha Xiaochun was next, shadow kill. Then Le Renquang, blade storm. Zhang Xuanyu said at the same time, 7 layered waves in furious sea. Han Fei made the final move. 7-star chain. In an instant, the 5 of them attacked Xiaozan at the same time. Luo Xiaobai's vines, Han Fei's chains, and the swords and knives shot out of Le Renquang's weapon box all darted at Xiaozan. Sha Xiaochun had appeared behind Xiaozan and thrust 2 daggers at Xiaozan's neck. Zhang Xuanyu also attacked him head-on. In the blink of an eye, Xiaozan was surrounded by different combat skills. Humph! Bam! Xiaozan suddenly burst out a wave of strong spiritual energy, which suddenly exploded with him at the center. Zhang Xuanyu and Sha Xiaochun were immediately sent flying. Le Renquang's swords and knives kept clanking, but none of them could break through Xiaozan's spiritual energy protective cover. Han Fei and Le Ren exchanged a glance. Bump. This was a combined combat skill created by Han Fei and Le Renquang. Both of them were of the power type, and when they bumped someone with all their strength, it was like a mountain falling down on him. Bam! Xiaozan's fists were wrapped with spiritual energy and he punched at the 2 of them. Le Renquang flew backward 7 or 8 meters before being caught by a vine. But Han Fei protected his own body with a spiritual energy protective cover in an instant. At the moment when he was about to be hit flying, the purple bamboo rod hit Xiaozan's knee. Xiaozan slightly bent his left leg and crushed his protective cover. Han Fei took the chance to draw the double knives at his waist and thrust them at his chest, shouting, spiral strike. Sha Xiaochun took advantage of the moment when Xiaozan's protective cover disappeared, detoured to the left side of Xiaozan like a shadow, and stabbed Xiaozan's armpit. Zhang Xuanyu chanted, blood and qi burn. Luo Xiaobai said at the same time, spectral lash. As soon as they were repelled for the first time, they immediately began the second round of bombardment. Xiaozan roared, armor. A shadow armor wrapped his body, and then he punched Sha Xiaochun's dagger away and waved his fist horizontally to block Han Fei's 2 daggers. But Han Fei had arrived, and his spiral strike hit right in the middle of Xiaozan's ribs. At the same time, a huge vine slammed on Xiaozan's left leg and they shouted, Fatty, give him a fatal blow. As Le Renquang patted his box, a strange knife shot out and punctured Xiaozan's abdomen. Crack! The shadow armor was broken and his protective cover was also crushed. Xiaozan stumbled but his hands didn't stop. He grabbed Han Fei's rod in one hand and Sha Xiaochun's hand in the other, and threw the 2 away at the same time. The only thing that Xiaozan found hard to resist was Zhang Xuanyu's mental attack. He could cope with attacks from all directions but not soul attacks. After 6 or 7 minutes, Le Renquang was the first to quit. His combat skills consumed too much spiritual energy. Although Han Fei provided him with enough spiritual energy, he had turned ghastly pale. Xiaozan took a chance to slap Zhang Xuanyu away and the latter simply lay on the ground motionless. Han Fei mocked them, you 2 are cowards. Sha Xiaochun, blade storm. With double knives in hand, Han Fei and Sha Xiaochun pounced at Xiaozan at the same time. The sky was full of glints of knives and clanking sounds were ceaseless. As a hunter, Sha Shaochen, attacks were more violent, leaving a lot of white marks on Xiaozhan's body and even cutting his skin. Han Fei assisted her on the side. Although he also hacked Xiaozhan many times, he failed to cut his skin. Xiaozhan grew impatient. Have you finished? It's my turn. Xiaozhan suddenly roared, and not far away, his own armor box opened. Swords and knives were immediately all over the sky. No one could resist his attacks. Luo Xiaobai's vines were smashed and she couldn't even get close to him. This state lasted for nearly 3 minutes, and Han Fei found helplessly that his clothes were torn. Sha Shaochen vomited blood and retreated. She didn't have Han Fei's abnormal defense power. Luo Xiaobai begged, Han Fei, it's time. Not paying attention, Han Fei shouted, fuse. When he activated the yin-yang divine eyes, Han Fei immediately turned fierce and grinned ferociously. Han Fei and Xiaozhan were slashing at each other head-on, and they both attacked very quickly. But then to their shock, Xiaozhan's knife could not reach Han Fei at all, who dodged it at a strange angle every time. In the distance, Old Bai narrowed his eyes. Forbid him to use yin-yang divine eyes in the future. Wenren Yu nodded. It's too powerful. Someone may covet it. Yes, keep it a secret for now. He is still too weak. Wenren Yu nodded. They've passed the test, haven't they? Old Bai wasn't impressed. They scraped through the test. They cooperated well in combat. However, their wielding of their spiritual beasts and contractual spiritual beasts is extremely poor. Hey, Han Fei, time is up, Le Renquang shouted. Sha Shaochen smoothed her hair back and said, it's useless to stop him now. You have to wait for him to have enough fun. Zhang Xuanyu got up from the ground and exclaimed, the yin-yang divine eyes are awesome. Mr. Han seems unable to resist his attack. Leave it to me. Then dozens of vines shot at Han Fei. However, he just twisted his body a little, and with a few cold flashes, the vines all dropped to the ground. Zhang Xuanyu shouted, just like I said, you won't be able to touch him. Sha Shaochen put away her daggers and stopped paying attention. All right, what shall we eat today? How about hot pot? Le Renquang nodded. I agree. And barbecue. Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. Don't you eat this every day? Sha Shaochen had had enough. I'm going to the plantation to pick some spiritual fruits. Le Renquang quickly followed her up. I'm going too. Half an hour later, Sha Shaochen and Le Renquang came back carrying a large package and found Han Fei lying on the ground looking at them. You brutes, I'm still fighting here but you two went to pick vegetables. Sha Shaochen said indifferently, no one asked you to continue fighting. Look, you can't even control your own spiritual beast. How can you blame us? Han Fei, where is the brocade sachet? Luo Xiaobai raised her hand. Sha Shaochen quickly ran over to grab the brocade sachet and it read, 100-game winning streak in the Blue Sea Arena. Luo Xiaobai said, I heard that since the Blue Sea Arena has existed, only 2 teams have had a 100-game winning streak. The last time was 30 years ago, and the winner was our Thug Academy. Zhang Xuanyu, sitting on the trunk, sighed. The teacher said that this is the simplest of the 6 brocade sachets. If we want to go to the fisheries, we shall complete this first. Chapter 152 Mysterious Library. Chapter 152, Mysterious Library. As soon as the hot pot was made, Xiaozhan, Old Bai, and Wenren Yu popped out. Smelling the fragrance of hot pot, they started to eat. Le Renquang asked, President, when are we going to the arena? Ol Bai took a sip of liquor and said, anytime. Go to the library and find a spare combat skill to learn. Spare combat skill. Xiaozhan picked up a large piece of meat with his chopsticks and put it in his mouth. Everyone should have a trump card. Han Fei, don't use your yin-yang divine eyes from now on. Go pick a trump card combat skill. Sha Shaochen was surprised. In our library, are there any trump card combat skills over there? I've searched through the library. Old Bai asked, have you searched under the floor? Everyone was speechless. Isn't it a library? Who do you hide good books under the floor? Who the FCK will check under the floor? Sha Shaochen got up. I'm full. Luo Xiaobai got up too. Me too. Even the foodie, Le Renquang grabbed a few prawns in his hand and stood up. I'm on a diet. Zhang Xuanyu wiped his mouth and got up. President, teachers, take your time. Shoo. Han Fei was still eating the drunk shrimp casually and then picked up some mushrooms from the hot pot. Old Bai looked at him. Why don't you go yet? The books won't run away anyway. Is there any difference to go now or later? Hey, Mr. Xiao, what are you doing? Xiao Zhan picked Han Fei up by the back collar and threw him out while giving a snort. You should lose weight. Han Fei was helpless. I have lost a little weight recently. Han Fei walked slowly towards the library, muttering, I haven't eaten 2 bites yet. Xiao Zhan smiled. I wonder how they will react when they see it. Wenren Yu thought for a while. Anyway, I was shocked. Old Man Bai pointed to the table of food. Come on, eat. We won't be able to eat this in the next few days. When Han Fei arrived at the library, he saw no one. Then he found an underground entrance behind a bookshelf. No wonder Old Bai insisted on constructing a new building on the old site of the library. It turned out there were secrets here. When Han Fei walked in, he saw that the 4 others were standing there in a daze. When he walked further in, he was dazed too. There were countless memorial tablets hanging on the wall, and there was a small hole beside each of them. Le Renquang gasped. How many dead people are here? Zhang Xuanyu swallowed. It's too many to count. Luo Xiaobai took a deep breath. So, did they leave their combat skills behind? Sha Xiaochen narrowed her eyes. I just wanted to know what happened that year. Why did so many people die? Han Fei stepped forward and took a fish skin map from a small hole, reading. Wang Yu, a peak-level dangling fisher, whose spiritual beast is an exotic king crab, had 382 battles in his life, 381 wins and a draw, and leaves behind a spirit-level, ultra-quality combat skill, King Cuts. Hiss. Gouda. Han Fei swallowed. A peak-level dangling fisher. Wasn't he even stronger than Fang Zi? He was never defeated in his entire life but he still died. Sha Xiaochen also picked a fish skin map and read it aloud. Chen Yuer, a junior law enforcer, whose spiritual beast was an exotic red flame seahorse, once killed an advanced explorer with double knives, and leaves behind a demon-level, mid-quality combat skill, blood-drinking knife. At this moment, the 5 of them were deeply shocked. They didn't yet know what a law enforcer was, but she must be stronger than a dangling fisher. And she could even kill a person of a higher level than her. The combat skills they cultivated were also special. Han Fei only knew mortal level and mystic level, but there were spirit level and demon level. Luo Xiaobai said, there must be a big secret down here. Zhang Xuanyu said with difficulty, I know, but I suddenly feel that we are so weak. Perhaps it's useless even if we know the secret. Let's find a combat skill. Do what we can afford. Don't be greedy. The others nodded. This was a spiritual shrine, as well as a treasure house. If this treasure trove was known to the outside world, the whole world would be crazy about it. Not wasting any time, they checked one hole after another. Han Fei used a process of elimination. Physical cultivation techniques and girls' cultivation techniques were excluded, and he mainly focused on combat skills with knives and hidden weapons. Spirit explosion technique explodes chi, blood, and spiritual energy to double one's combat power for about 15 minutes. Demon-level high-quality combat skill 1000 stars / a combat skill for spirit gatherers, draws spiritual energy from between the earth and sky to inject into a knife. Once you master this combat skill, you can split mountains and wipe out a whole city. Heaven-level combat skill Deicide Fist. The team had read through dozens of books when Sha Xiaochen shouted, wait. Le Renquang immediately stepped back. Oh my gosh, I want to choose all of them. Every book is so great. Zhang Xuanyu echoed, me too. Han Fei nodded. Yes, I don't know which one to pick either. Luo Xiaobai suggested, choose carefully. Every combat skill is very attractive. But we are choosing our trump card, combat skill, so we must choose the most suitable one for ourselves. The others nodded and continued to check the books. 1, 2, 10. Every book was attractive to Han Fei, but he suppressed his desire to choose them all. Heaven-level combat skill War God Bow is an 8-bow combat skill. Once all the 8 arrows were shot out, the enemy would die. It's said that it also has a ninth arrow, which can destroy the enemy's soul. Han Fei's eyes were immediately glued to this combat skill. He always wanted to cultivate a bow technique but hadn't had the chance. What attracted him most was that this war god bow can crush the soul of the enemy. This was special. Zhang Xuanyu stood out from countless geniuses because of his soul attack. Good. Han Fei began to read it. A string of data appeared in front of his eyes. War god bow, heaven level, mid-quality. Less than note greater than the first bow combat skill in the 1000-star city 3000 years ago. Once its ninth arrow is shot out, no one can resist it. This combat skill is infinitely close to high quality. Less than deduced art greater than war soul art. Less than degree of completion greater than 0.100,000. Han Fei was relieved to see this number, which was unexpectedly low. However, unlike before, the deduced result was directly shown. Sha Xiaochen tilted her head. Han Fei, have you chosen yours? Oh, not yet. With that said, Han Fei put down the war god bow and continued to search. Suddenly, Le Renquang shouted, I found mine. Armor art, it's so powerful. Zhang Xuanyu chimed in, I also found mine. Mystic Fatal Rod is very suitable for me. The remaining three were still rummaging, and after a while, Sha Xiaochen suddenly said, I found one, but it's not enough. I need to find another one. Don't be greedy. Sha Xiaochen looked down. I know. Han Fei checked all the books, and in the end, stopped at a knife combat skill. The demon level combat skill million knife art. This was a knife control technique. In theory, you could control as many knives as you had. Perhaps for others, it was difficult. Who had the time to collect so many knives? Besides, different knives had different qualities. In the face of powerful enemies, this combat skill might not work. For example, someone like Han Fei who had a strong defense power. But Han Fei was different. He had the skill of refining. All he needed was spiritual energy and materials. Although neither the war god bow nor million knife art could be considered a trump card combat skill, he had the demon purification pot. Who could kill him if he hid in the demon purification pot? I've found mine too. Million knife art is suitable for me. Sha Xiaochen was surprised. I have read it, but the demand is too high. It needs lots of knives that must be of magic weapon quality at least. Otherwise, it'll be useless to dangling fishers. Han Fei retorted, but I'm rich. Everyone. Oh, I forgot this guy was rich. Sha Xiaochen pouted. Is it a big deal to be rich? But, it seems, a big deal indeed. Han Fei was about to leave when suddenly he caught a glimpse of a spirit-level combat skill called War Body Technique beside Million Knife Art. Han Fei shouldn't have noticed this book that was only of spirit level. The others paid the most attention to heaven-level combat skills, but Han Fei thought of Mystic Body Technique. He vaguely remembered that Mystic Body Technique was just immortal level, high-quality cultivation art, but it turned into incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing after being deduced. What a coincidence. Han Fei took the War Body Technique and opened it. As soon as he looked at it, his eyes lit up. War Body Technique, a technique of body tempering, tempers all the acupoints in one's body with pure spiritual energy, and can gather spiritual energy from the void in combat. Great, this is what I'm looking for. Chapter 153 The Fish Dragons Have Come. Chapter 153 The Fish Dragons Have Come. Han Fei was excited. Just like Indestructible Body, the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing was not only a body tempering technique, but also a combat skill one. After all, the benefits the 108 postures brought to Han Fei far exceeded the body tempering itself. Han Fei read the War Body Technique quickly. After a while, the data showed. War Body Technique incomplete, spirit level. And LT remarks greater than a technique of body tempering. Tempers the acupoints all over the body with pure spiritual energy to cast a spirit-absorbing war body, and can continuously gather spiritual energy from the void in combat. And LT disadvantage greater than it cannot last without the support of physical combat skills. And LT deduced art greater than spirit-absorbing war body. And LT degree of completion greater than 0.50,000. Han Fei smiled and said, okay, I have chosen mine. How about you? Luo Xiaobai raised a combat skill in her hand. Spiritual wedding dress. It can give me spiritual energy armor. Han Fei said mockingly, Luo Xiaobai. We are looking for a trump card combat skill. Luo Xiaobai raised another one. Death replacement art. With it, you can exchange your body with your spiritual plant and let it die for you. Zhang Xuanyu was startled. What kind of magical skills are these? A sacrifice for me, can I practice it? No, Sha Xiaochen was still rummaging. After a while, she came out with 2 books and waved them in the air. Supreme Stab and Hidden Kill, 2 assassination skills. When everyone came out of the library, Luo Xiaobai blocked the place with a bookshelf. This was a wise move. The combat skills in it were all priceless treasures. If others knew their existence, they might have rushed over and dismantled the Thug Academy. Outside, Xiao Zhan, standing at the door, looked at Han Fei strangely. Han Fei, someone wants to see you. Han Fei. The others followed him to the gate of the Thug Academy curiously. Le Renquang suddenly shouted happily, another fatty. There are so many fat people in this world. It was Li Gan and Li Gang who came to see him. Li Gang shouted excitedly as soon as he saw Han Fei, young master, young master. Li Gan followed, leader. Han Fei was surprised. Why are you here? Li Gang smiled fawningly. Young master, I was worried that you didn't have enough money to spend in the town, so I came to bring you some money with Li Gan. Staring at the 3 large boxes, Sha Xiaochen was stunned. Wow. Zhang Xuanyu's rod fell to the ground with a click. Wow. Han Feibai glanced at the 2 of them, then asked Li Gang, how much? Li Gang capped his hands, and then some people carried 3 large boxes in from outside the school gate. Li Gang smiled fawningly. Young master, our business is doing well. This is 30,000 mid-quality pearls. Do you think it is enough? Hiss. Le Renquang sat on the ground with a jerk. At the moment, Han Fei was like a big shining pearl in his eyes. And there seemed to be something falling off the big tree not far away. Xiao Zhan, who was about to shoulder the basket and go out to sell the bull conch, stood with him mouth open. How much? Sha Xiaochen said shyly and sweetly, Hottie, can I make you a deal? Zhang Xuanyu said earnestly, Fei, you know, we are very short on money now. Seeing this, Li Gang couldn't help but despise them in his heart. Do these higher-ups want to swindle young master out of his money? Han Fei shivered and kicked Zhang Xuanyu. TLL treat you to a big meal as soon as you become a great fishing master. Zhang Xuanyu patted his chest. It won't take me long. How can I fall behind you for all the time? Li Gang was shocked. What do they mean? Did they mean that these people are all great fishing masters except this one? Han Fei patted Li Gang's shoulder. Can you just bring me high-quality pearls next time? These pearls are too much for me. It's not convenient for me to carry. The others immediately said, we can carry them for you. Han Fei didn't care. It was troublesome to carry the pearls. Li Gang took Han Fei aside and said, young master, we've discussed. It seems that the consumption power of our village has reached its limit. Shall we come to the Blue Sea town to develop further? Han Fei raised his eyebrows. Phew, you've finally agreed to come out. Li Gang chuckled. Of course, as long as we can earn more money. When I came here just now, I saw a huge plantation outside, dozens of times larger than that in our village. Young master, can you make some use of it? Han Fei chuckled. You're ambitious. Okay, let me check it out. Before Han Fei turned around, Old Bai had strode up to him holding his head high. He looked at Han Fei seriously. Can the plantation make money for us? Han Fei scratched his belly. Yes, I made my fortune from the plantation at Old Yang's. Smack. Old Man Bai slapped Han Fei on the shoulder, almost patting his body numb. Then why didn't you tell me that earlier? This plantation has been laid to waste. Hurry up, let your people come over and deal with it quickly. You can keep 20% of the money earned. Han Fei frowned. President, that's really unfair. I need to contribute manpower and investments, and rent shops and recruit workers. And you'll only give me 20%. Old Bai seemed to realize that was a bit steep, so he asked tentatively, 30%. 60/40ths. I keep 60% and you get 40%. Old Bai widened his eyes. What? Old Bai said indignantly, this is my plantation. Hearing this, the others were stunned. Didn't you just say it had been laid to waste? Han Fei said slyly, how about this? I will give 10% to the four of them. Zhang Xuanyu raised his hand. I agree. Old Bai gave Zhang Xuanyu a stare. It's none of your business. Sha Xiaochen also said slyly, Grandpa President, it's our salary. How can Han Fei's men who have just come to the town from the village defend their business in the town? They need security guards. If anyone comes to make trouble, you can't drive them away personally, right? With us serving as security guards, you just need to wait and collect the money. Han Fei gave Sha Xiaochen an approving look. Smart girl, he added, 40% will be a lot of money. It's about 70 or 80,000 mid-quality pearls a month. It's enough for you to splurge on anything you want. Old Bai was dumbfounded. The number scared him. 7 or 80,000 mid-quality pearls a month. Wow, that's a lot. Old Bai thought for a moment. Okay, but the school won't take care of the plantation. You take care of it yourself. Han Fei cursed secretly. This old man is really cunning. He'll take 40% of the benefits without doing anything. Fortunately, there were Sha Xiaochen and the others. Otherwise, who will drive away troublemakers? He certainly couldn't count on Old Bai. Okay, trust me, the Thug Academy will become the richest of the 4 academies. Old Bai turned around and left. When he passed by Xiao Zhan asked, Old Bai, I don't need to peddle bowl conches anymore, right? Old Bai sneered, of course, why do you, a teacher of the Great Thug Academy, need to peddle bowl conches? Wenren Yu added, Old Bai, I don't need to work at Linglong Tower either, right? Of course, I'll give you 2 baskets of mid-grade pearls to have a shopping spree at Linglong Tower. Wen Renyu said with a smile, you're so vain. Old Bai sighed, I have been poor for 30 years. Now, I've finally recruited a rich student. In the past, even 70 or 80,000 mid-quality pearls was a piece of cake to me, let alone 70 or 80,000 high-quality pearls. Wenren Yu rolled her eyes. Yeah, keep bragging. One still remember how we busked to relieve hunger when we had no money to buy food. ... Han Fei turned to Li Gang. You see, the Fish Dragon's headquarters will be located in the Blue Sea Town. If anyone comes to make trouble, you can turn to anyone in our Thug Academy for help. Le Renquang nodded hard. Yes, if anyone dares to do that, come to me. Zhang Xuanyu stomped. Yes, you can come to me too. Luo Xiaobai thought for a while. Count me in. Li Gang looked at them with a stunned look, and then looked at Han Fei. Han Fei kept winking at him. You fool, the 4 of them are future strong masters. We just need to pay them 10% of the benefits and they will be our security guards. That's a good deal. Han Fei said casually, gang, they're our shareholders from now on. You can bring them something to eat and play from time to time, understood? Gulp. Yes, yes. Li Gang was a bit confused. Didn't the village leader say that the school Han Fei entered was so poor that they didn't even have a door? Now it seems that although they are poor indeed, they are very strong. Li Gang took a deep breath. Young master, you can rest assured. I'll do this job well. Chapter 154 Take the Stage. Chapter 154, Take the Stage. In the forest, Le Renquang and Zhang Xuanyu helped Han Fei drag the box of Zongpin pearls. Unbearable to Han Fei, however, Zhang Xuanyu grabbed a handful of pearls from the box and put them in his pocket from time to time. Soon, his pocket was full. Han Fei looked at him helplessly, but Zhang Xuanyu grinned. Fei, this box is so heavy. This labor cost is not much. Le Renquang was speechless. Why didn't I find Zhang Xuanyu so shameless before? He used to steal the president's vegetables in front of the president's face, and now he was stealing Han Fei's pearls under Han Fei's eyes without even blushing. Han Fei said, everyone can get 100 pearls and I need to buy knives with the remaining pearls. Le Renquang pointed to Zhang Xuanyu. Look, his pocket is so full of pearls that they are falling out. Sha Xiaochen scoffed. You're stupid. We are shareholders. Do we still need to put the pearls in our pockets? Zhang Xuanyu was stunned for a while. Yes, Sha Xiaochen was right, so he took out all the pearls in his pocket. Anyway, he would have a lot of pearls in the coming future. In the end, they couldn't find a proper place to put these mid-quality pearls, so Han Fei just threw them under the treehouse. And he went to the mountain to cultivate. Han Fei avoided the crowd and could not wait to find a place to sit down. Deduce. 50,000 points of spiritual energy disappeared in a blink of an eye. Soon, new data came out. Less than existing art greater than spirit-absorbing war body, incomplete, spirit level, divine quality. Less than remarks greater than a technique of body tempering, tempers the acupoints all over your body with pure spiritual energy to cast a spirit-absorbing war body, and can continuously gather spiritual energy from the void in combat. Fuse. Fuse with the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing or not. Is that okay? Fuse. Suddenly, the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing disappeared, and so did spirit-absorbing war body. Instead, a new body tempering technique called 108 spirit-absorbing war bodies appeared. 108 spirit-absorbing war bodies, demon level, divine quality. Less than remarks greater than the human body is like a funnel, having 108 branch acupoints and 36 main acupoints, all of which are fatal. Once one tempers all these acupoints with pure spiritual energy using this art, a spirit-absorbing war body can be created, which can continuously gather spiritual energy from the void in combat. Less than deduced art greater than unknown. Less than degree of completion greater than 0.1 millionths. Han Fei was not surprised. Demon level, shouldn't it be at the venerable level? Fang Zi once said that the combat skill was used by venerable level strong masters. However, it was still higher than spirit level. Unfortunately, it was not a heaven level divine quality art. Otherwise, it would be an ideal technique for him. Seeing that it required 1 million points of spiritual energy to deduce it again, Han Fei immediately gave up. I don't have that much spiritual energy now. The ultra-quality spiritual stones should be used to upgrade my void fishing to the 3rd level. However, he needed to wait for a thunderstorm. Otherwise, it would be too loud. Except for the ultra-quality spiritual stones, he only had less than 100 pieces of low-quality spiritual stones left. All the spiritual energy he had totaled less than 1 million points. Han Fei did not stop as he continued to deduce War God Bow. He didn't even blink his eyes to spend the 100,000 points of spiritual energy required. War Soul Bow, Heaven Level, High Quality. Less than remarks greater than the fully developed 9-bow combat skill deduced from the War God Bow, shot 2 arrows each time, one of which attacks the enemy's body and the other the enemy's soul. The 9 arrows confused together. Less than deduced art greater than unknown. Less than degree of completion greater than 0.100,000ths. Shoot and hellop. Han Fei was speechless. 100,000 points of spiritual energy. Seriously, then will it be 10 million points required for the next deduction? Are you robbing me? Han Fei was stunned. He had thought that he could get a heaven level, divine quality art and hellop. Shit, 100,000 points of spiritual energy were wasted. Suddenly, a large number of war bow techniques appeared in his mind. This was a real trump card combat skill. Once he mastered it, who could stop him? Although it was not of divine quality, it was the 2nd strongest combat skill after indestructible body. As for the million knife art, Han Fei temporarily gave up. He didn't have so many knives. He needed at least 1 million points of spiritual energy to refine 1 million mortal level knives. Even if he would only refine 1,000 knives, he had no place to store them. The secret of the demon purification pot couldn't be exposed anyway. 3 days later, Han Fei was panting on the ground, his body covered with a layer of dirt. The 108 spirit-absorbing war bodies was much more powerful than the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing. It took him 3 days to practice it, but the effect was great. With its help, he broke his upper limit of spiritual energy. He didn't continue to practice the art. Body tempering was the most time-consuming. These days, Han Fei felt more than once that someone was sneaking up on him. Needless to say, it was definitely Sha Shaochen. Han Fei wanted to refine a longbow, but he had no material. There was only 1 purple bone left of the stuff that he got from the hexagon starfish. He couldn't make a bow only with it. A bow should at least have a string. Suddenly, Han Fei pulled out his double knives, and the next moment, Sha Shaochen rushed up. Clang and hellop. Han Fei did not make the effort to dodge the attack and he was stabbed in the shoulder by Sha Xiaochen. Sha Xiaochen came up and stared at his shoulder. Sha Xiaochen was curious. How is it? Has it bled? Han Fei tore the clothes a little, only to see red blood. He was slightly shocked. You broke my defense. Sha Xiaochen immediately laughed happily. Ha ha, I made it an hellop. Han Fei was a little speechless, so you just took me as a human shield. It turned out that the indestructible body was not sturdy enough. He still had to cultivate harder. Han Fei was frustrated. What's your combat skill called? Sha Xiaochen said proudly, Supreme Stab. It is said that with this combat skill, one once successfully stabbed one of the Venerable in Hellop. Unfortunately, it is not clear what level the Venerable was at. But he was probably very strong. Han Fei was very upset. Why did he become the new human shield in the place of Renquang? He didn't want it. Where are the others? Sha Xiaochen put away her daggers. Quang's armor art is a weapon control technique. It can both attack and defend. Now he has almost finished practicing it, so he is eating hot pot under the mountain. Xiaobai has mastered her death replacement art in one day. As for Zhang Xuanyu, well, his mystic fatal rod is a bit weird. With this art, his rod will have a shadow that can directly attack the enemy's soul. Its attack power is not strong, but can make people lose their minds for a while, but it doesn't work on me. Are you showing off to me? Han Fei questioned. Sha Xiaochen looked at Han Fei up and down. Yes, what about you? Didn't you take the million knife art? Why have you been tempering your body these past few days? Han Fei pointed his finger at her. I knew it was you. But I don't have enough knives yet. Sha Xiaochen sneered. Aren't you rich? Buy them. You can buy at least 100 knives in Linglong Tower. Han Fei raised his hand to smell himself and said a bit disgustedly, the million knife art is my trump card combat skill. I don't think I need to use it in the Blue Sea Arena. So, I can practice it later. I'm going to take a shower. Would you like to do it together with me? A cold light instantly shot at him and Han Fei ran away, muttering, okay, I'm sorry. Mind your manners. Sha Xiaochen was very angry. She liked teasing others but had never been teased by others before meeting Han Fei. How dare him? When she becomes stronger, she would teach this guy a good lesson. Half an hour later, Han Fei appeared at the dinner table. He picked a piece of mushroom up and threw it in his mouth. Renquang pointed at him angrily. Why are you thinner again? Han Fei was elated. I told you that my being fat was only temporary. I was actually thin and handsome. Zhang Xuanyu stuck his head over. Were you as handsome as me? Get lost. Luo Xiaobai shushed them. Okay. Everyone is here. Let's go to the Blue Sea Arena after the meal. Han Fei was surprised. Why the rush? Luo Xiaobai said flatly. The 100-game winning streak in the Blue Sea Arena is just the first step. Don't doubt that the second brocade sachet must be about the sea or even the level 3 fishery. That's where we should go. Renquang ate a piece of meat. Level 3 fishery. I haven't even been to the level 2 fishery. Zhang Xuanyu said lazily. Then go to the level 2 fishery to have a look. If you can handle it, then go to the level 3 fishery. After the meal, the 5 of them marched out of the school energetically. This was the first time they had gone out of school and gone to the stage. What they represent was not themselves, but the school behind them. Behind them, Xiao Zhan looked at their receding figures. Old Bai, guess how long it will take them to win 100 games? Old Bai mumbled, 3 months. I don't think so. Although they are not yet proficient in wielding their spiritual beasts, it will take them at most 2 months. Chapter 155 Linglong Tower. Chapter 155, Linglong Tower. The Blue Sea Town Arena, less than a kilometer away from the Linglong Tower, occupied an area of nearly 3 football fields. Sha Xiaochen asked, shall we buy uniforms? Han Fei glanced at the fish skin-like tights on his body, and he was used to its ugliness. They happened to pass by the Linglong Tower, and Han Fei scratched his belly. Yes. Zhang Xuanyu's eyes lit up. I want sea silk. It's super nice. As soon as they stepped up the stairs, someone had come up to greet them. May I help you? Choosing Linglong Tower, you've chosen an attitude and hellop. Zhang Xuanyu said impatiently. We want to buy clothes, sea silk specifically. We are not short of money, so show us your best. Han Fei was speechless. You are not short of money. Your mid-quality pearls were given to you by me. The shop assistant was full of smiles. Yes, yes, do you want uniforms or different styles? Han Fei asked, what is the uniform like? The shop assistant led the crowd into the door and smiled. You are quite similar in behavior and so young, and there are 5 of you, so I guess you must have come to participate in the games in the Blue Sea Arena. Am I right? The Linglong Tower is known for its expertise in designing uniforms for different teams. Sha Xiaochen asked, are there uniforms suitable for girls? Sure. Linglong Tower sells everything you need. When they stepped into the door of the Linglong Tower, the 4 others gasped in shock. Han Fei blushed. Cough. You guys are so embarrassing. Watch how I act and follow me, okay? Sha Xiaochen scoffed. Blah, blah and hellop. Han Fei looked at the so-called Linglong Tower, which was indeed extraordinary. Its single layer was more than 10 meters high, and the ceiling was inlaid with gold and diamonds. The ground was laid with some kind of white jade, and the octagonal columns were carved with seaweed reliefs. The whole house looked like a magnificent palace. Han Fei glanced at the counters. The first floor was just some stones, fishing rods, weapons, pills and clothing, but the prices shocked him. A mortal level, high-quality rod cost 588 mid-quality pearls. Han Fei looked at his purple bamboo rod and thought maybe he should change rods. And the clothes were made of sea hemp, which was only a bit better than fish skin and no different from linen, but they charged 188 mid-quality pearls. After a while, a row of clothes was pushed out by the shop assistant. There were more than 10 pieces on it and they were blue and white with a silk-like texture. Sha Xiaochen took Luo Xiaobai's hand, ran over, picked a set of girls' clothes, and laid it on her body. The shop assistant smiled and said, Miss, this dress may be a bit big, but it's no problem. Our tailor can alter it for you. Only 200 mid-quality pearls are needed, and it can be done immediately. But Sha Xiaochen muttered, this one is beautiful. This one is nice too. Wow, this is the best in Helip. Le Renquang nodded. This is good. Not too tight. The others were also excited. They finally experienced the life of rich people. Only Han Fei covered his face, pretending not to know them. Seeing this, the shop assistant immediately ran to Han Fei. Sir, you don't like our clothes. You can rest assured that our clothes can be enlarged at random. I'm sure you can wear them. Han Fei snorted. What do you mean? Are you implying I am fat? They're so-so. Do other teams also wear these? It'll be embarrassing if we wear the same as the others in the arena. The shop assistant still smiled. It won't happen. Our Linglong Tower's clothes only have one set. I can assure you that you won't find anyone wearing the same as you in the entire arena. Han Fei nodded quietly. Okay. However, the shop assistant still smiled. But sir, this is a new series, so if you want to buy it, you may have to buy the whole dozen. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. Huh, the shop assistant said apologetically, if you don't buy them all, we will have to destroy them. This cost will be great. Please understand us. Han Fei frowned. How much are they? The shop assistant smiled. It's not expensive. Only 5,000 mid-quality pearls. Hu and Helip. Le Renquang was so scared that he threw the clothes in his hand away and almost hit the shop assistant's head with his weapon box. These clothes cost 5,000 mid-quality pearls. Are you robbing people? Han Fei was also stunned. Are you kidding me? However, Han Fei did not panic at all but instead asked, is the design and the quality worth 5,000? The shop assistant still smiled. Whether the design or the quality, it is worth the price. Any piece of clothing here can resist the attack of mortal-level low-quality weapons without being damaged. Sha Xiaochen looked earnestly at Han Fei. Although she felt these clothes were expensive, they looked so beautiful. Han Fei scratched his belly helplessly and said to the shop assistant, tell your tailor, I have a set of design drafts that are 10 times the worth of these clothes. If she wants, she can come out and take a look. If she doesn't, it's okay. 5,000 mid-quality pearls is not much. I'll buy them. The shop assistant finally lost his smile and looked at Han Fei in amazement. Is this fatty bragging? Sha Xiaochen found that Han Fei could do anything. She couldn't help asking, Han Fei, can you design clothes? Han Fei smiled. One of the attributes of a genius is his omnipotence. Bah, narcissistic fatty. The shop assistant immediately entered the inner level of Linglong Tower. He was thinking that if Han Fei had 5,000 mid-quality pearls, it was not strange that he had such a design. Soon, a graceful, charming woman walked out. She glanced at Han Fei and the others and said lazily, "Who said he had a design worth 10 times my clothes?" Han Fei smiled. "Me." The beautiful woman looked at Han Fei and said, "Sir, you can't just say anything you like. If you can't come up with such a design, you'll have to buy all these clothes." Han Fei raised his head with a smile. 5,000 mid-quality pearls is nothing in my eyes. Bring me a pen and paper. The beautiful woman was surprised and nodded to the shop assistant, who left quickly. The beautiful woman smiled and said sweetly, "Phew. It seems that you're very rich. 5,000 mid-quality pearls is nothing in my eyes." Han Fei patted his belly. "This is just a small sum of money. As long as I want, I'm able to compete with your Linglong Tower, but I am too lazy to do business." The corner of the beautiful woman's mouth twitched. She just wanted to slap this brat to the ground. How arrogant he is. Compete with the Linglong Tower. Who does he think he is? Soon, the pen and paper came out. Luo Xiaobai whispered to Han Fei, "Okay. Sure." Luo Xiaobai suddenly glimpsed Zhang Xuanyu slobbering at the beautiful woman, and kicked him before shouting, "Manners." Han Fei took the pen and drew without hesitation. Soon, the graceful postures of several women appeared on the paper. Han Fei drew 8 women, who were walking, sitting, or standing still. They wore different styles of clothes, including short skirts, ancient-style clothing, cheongsams, and so on, and the beautiful woman's eyes were glued to the paper. Half an hour later, Han Fei put down the pen and said proudly, "How much do you think it's worth?" The beautiful woman took a deep look at Han Fei and said solemnly, "Good design. It outlines the woman's body so perfectly. Sir, do you know the girl's body well?" Han Fei immediately blushed. "No, this is just my aesthetics. It is my appreciation of the perfect creatures created by heaven and earth. I am just appreciating it and help. Well, just answer my question." Titter and help. Zhang Xuanyu looked up at the sky. Luo Xiaobai looked down at the ground. Sha Xiaochen snorted. Han Fei is a lecher indeed. The beautiful woman blinked at Han Fei. "It is dozens of times better than my crude works. I wonder if you can sell your design to Linglong Tower. Of course, I'll offer you a fair price. You can choose a commodity worth 50,000 mid-quality pearls in our store." Wow, the eyes of the others almost popped out in help. Is it so easy to make money? Within half an hour, Han Fei got clothes for free and earned 50,000 mid-quality pearls. Zhang Xuanyu hugged Han Fei's neck. "Fei Fei, say yes and help." Han Fei said crossly, "Shut up. You're putting me down." Zhang Xuanyu. "And help." Sha Xiaochen tugged at the hem of Han Fei's shirt and whispered, "Can you not sell it? I think the clothes you painted look better. We can buy some cloth and make them ourselves." Luo Xiaobai added, "I agree." Han Fei just ignored them. These shallow women didn't know he had better designs. Han Fei waved his hand. "Sell it. I have a better design." Sha Xiaochen's eyes lit up. "Really? Then and help. Let's buy some cloth and make the clothes ourselves." Luo Xiaobai frowned and stared at the drawing. "I still think this is good." Roar and help. Suddenly, storm-like cheers came from a short distance and everyone turned to look. The beautiful woman said, "Some team must have won and the audience is cheering." "Sir, there are many good things in our shop which can increase your probability of winning." Chapter 156 Blue Sea Arena. Chapter 156, Blue Sea Arena. The beautiful woman frowned as Han Fei's words were a big shock. This boy still had a better design. The beautiful woman immediately said, "Sir, can you sell me your other design?" Han Fei shook his head. "Not for sale. I said money was not the problem. I want to give it away as a gift." The beautiful woman really wanted to kick this prodigal boy out of the Linglong Tower. However, there was still a smile on her face. "What do you want to buy, sir?" Han Fei said with a smile. "What do you recommend, beauty?" The beautiful woman narrowed her eyes. 50,000 mid-quality pearls was a lot of money, but Han Fei didn't seem to want to exchange it for money but instead asked her to recommend a commodity. This was interesting. The beautiful woman asked, "Have you heard of spiritual weapons? Since we're friends, I can give you a low-quality spiritual weapon." Han Fei thought to himself, "I can refine weapons myself. Besides, I don't need a spiritual weapon now." Although Sha Shaochen secretly poked his waist, he still shook his head. "No need." The beautiful woman smiled. "Our Linglong Tower also has a lot of high-quality spiritual fruits, which contain a lot of spiritual energy and are suitable for you to eat." Zhang Xuanyu said quickly, "Fei Fei, say yes." Han Fei shook his head again. "It's just spiritual fruit. There are tons of spiritual fruits in the sea. I can pick them myself, so no, I don't want those." Le Renquang tugged at his sleeve and whispered, "How troublesome are they to pick yourself?" "Say yes." Han Fei shook his head. "It's just something I can get by moving my fingers. I want something that we can't get by ourselves for now." The beautiful woman thought about it for a moment, and she seemed to be struggling a bit. Finally, she said, "You need neither weapons nor spiritual fruits. There is something suitable for you. Have you ever heard of sea-swallowing seashells?" Luo Xiaobai was surprised, but a sea-swallowing seashell is worth much more than 50,000 mid-quality pearls. The beautiful woman smiled. "Yes, but Linglong Tower wants to make a deal with Mr. Han Fei. If you don't develop a clothing business in the Blue Sea Town in the future, I can give you the sea-swallowing seashell." Han Fei rolled his eyes. "Okay," the shop assistant exclaimed, "Miss Yuling, the sea-swallowing seashell is worth." The beautiful woman gave the shop assistant a cold glance, and the latter immediately shut up and went upstairs. Han Fei shrugged. "Relax, I am not interested in the apparel business. And this drawing can make you 10 times the money you paid today." The beautiful woman just smiled and said nothing. Han Fei beckoned, "Let's go. Change your clothes quickly. We are here for the games. Don't waste time here." When they entered the locker room, the beautiful woman frowned and said to a waiter behind her, "Find out about this boy's background." 5 minutes later, Han Fei said holding a small seashell in his hand, "Bye." After leaving the Linglong Tower, Sha Shaochen hurriedly said, "Let me see how big it is." It is said that the internal space of a sea-swallowing seashell is as large as tens of square meters. Le Renquang drew near curiously. "Oh, I was too shy to ask just now. Is there such a treasure in this world?" Zhang Xuanyu shook his head. "I hadn't heard of it either." Luo Xiaobai said flatly, "The internal space can be big or small. This is only known at the moment when a sea-swallowing seashell is opened, but it is generally not too big." Han Fei scratched his belly. He didn't ask either. He had been pretending to be a know-it-all. How could he say he didn't know? Luo Xiaobai was excited. "Try it. See how big the space is." Han Fei blinked. "How do I try it?" "Everyone." Le Renquang was helpless. "So you don't know either?" Han Fei chuckled. "I just guessed this thing was very valuable from their expressions." "Everyone." Luo Xiaobai scoffed. "There are 2 ways to check its internal space. Inject spiritual energy, and this seashell will detect your spiritual energy. Then you can open it with your thoughts and store things in it." Han Fei's hand flashed with spiritual energy, and then he said, "Smaller than 5 square meters. Not bad. They are generally only about 3 or 4 square meters. Of course, there are big ones, but they are hard to get." Han Fei was surprised. Why did Luo Xiaobai know so much about these? Han Fei immediately asked, "Pardon me, but why are you all so poor?" The 4 others all fell silent. Zhang Xuanyu said leisurely, "You may not believe it that only after I met you did I first touch a mid-quality pearl." Han Fei. Le Renquang sighed. "When I was in the village, after paying the fish tax, what I earned was not even enough for me to buy food." Han Fei. Luo Xiaobai added, I didn't buy anything with money." Han Fei. Sha Shaochen didn't speak but passed him the bag in her hand. "Throw the clothes in." Han Fei was shocked. What kind of torture did these people once suffer? Why were they all so miserable? With a thought from Han Fei, the bag in his hand disappeared and then appeared in his hand again in the next second. Under Le Renquang's and Zhang Xuanyu's envious gaze, Han Fei put away the seashell and smiled. "It's interesting. Now I have a place to put my money. Everyone. Luo Xiaobai suggested, didn't you choose the million knife art? You can also put your knives in it. Lost in thought, Han Fei nodded casually. Yes, when I have enough knives. Han Fei was in a good mood. Besides this Cheongsam, I also have a Tang suit, Han suit, Mori girl style, and OL style. At this moment, they had put on the sea silk uniforms, which looked very classy. In these clothes, their rate of second glances had increased. Of course, the passerby were mainly attracted by their clothes. The Blue Sea Arena. The crowd of people kept flooding in and out of the arena. In the hall, the ticket office was overcrowded. Luo Xiaobai went straight to the consultation desk and said, "We wish to sign up for a team competition." The staff member was stunned. "A student team," he said with a frown. "Kids, we use real weapons here. The 3 academies have warned us more than once. If you are injured, we'll be in serious trouble." Luo Xiaobai said with a cold face, "We are not from the 3 academies. We are from Thug Academy." Thug Academy, Sha Xiaochen added, "the 4th Academy." The staff member was confused. When did the 4th Academy have students? Never heard of it. Kid, when did your school start? It's always open. It's just that nobody's paying attention. The staff smiled helplessly. Fine, since you insist, please tell me your strength so that we can arrange opponents for you. Luo Xiaobai continued, "I'm a junior grade fishing master and manipulator." Huh, the staff member was shocked and his look changed dramatically. Was there a student who was a great fishing master in the 4th Academy? Sha Xiaochen went next. "I'm a junior grade fishing master and hunter." Then Le Renquang. "I'm a junior grade fishing master and armorist." Han Fei was up. "I'm a junior grade fishing master and spirit gatherer." And finally Zhang Xuanyu said, "I'm a peak level fishing master and soul warrior." Click. The pen in the staff's hand fell to the ground. But he shivered and ran away like crazy. Zhang Xuanyu shrugged. "You must have scared him. I should report it first. Is there any difference? You'll be a junior grade fishing master soon." After a while, a middle-aged man came from inside the arena. As he walked, he asked the staff, "Where are they? Did you keep them?" "Sir, they are in the hall." The middle-aged man glanced quickly and immediately went to them wearing a big smile. "Hello, I'm Bao Jin, the person in charge of the Blue Sea Arena. Please come inside. Sorry for making you wait. Please follow me." A moment later, in a private room, Bao Jin said with a smile, "It's an honor that you can come to participate in the competition. In particular, the collocation of your professions is perfect. So please allow us to make a test for you." Luo Xiaobai asked indifferently, "How will you test us?" Bao Jin smiled. "Since you've come to the arena, how about having a fight in the arena? Of course, because you are mostly great fishing masters, the opponent team we arrange for you won't be weak, which also consists of peak-level fishing masters and junior great fishing masters." Luo Xiaobai nodded. "Okay, how soon?" Bao Jin thought to himself, "Why are you in such a hurry?" However, this was the 4th Academy. They hadn't appeared in the Blue Sea Arena for 30 years. Why did they suddenly come here today? Bao Jin patted his chest. "It'll be quick, at most half an hour." "Okay, let's wait here." Chapter 157 Thug Legend. Chapter 157, Thug Legend. In the VIP room where Han Fei and the others stayed, they could directly see the arena. The room was quaintly decorated. The decorative patterns were of seagrass glyphs and fish grass sculptures, and the seats were made of polished corals. There were even springs in the corners of the room. The wall facing the arena had no windows but fences and large cutouts so that the people in the room could watch the games clearly. At this moment, there were 2 fishing master level teams fighting in the arena. The fight was quite intense. Someone had been pierced by a spear, but no one had died. There were people engaged in 5 major professions in both teams. One was a manipulator and the other was a soul warrior. Han Fei was surprised. What if people are injured in the arena? Zhang Xuanyu answered, "There are spirit gatherers treating them. By the way, since spirit gatherers can heal injuries, can you?" Han Fei raised his eyebrows. "Really? Why haven't I heard of this?" Luo Xiaobai said, "It depends on the direction you chose. Didn't you choose the water control technique? Don't bite off more than you can chew. Healing technique also takes time to learn. Han Fei complained in his heart. Old Zhang was too much. He didn't even teach me any healing techniques. What if I'm injured? Sha Xiaochen added, don't be afraid. You're so shameless that your skin must be very thick and can't be pierced through. Thank you, but if I master healing techniques, you can benefit from it too. No, I must go back and learn the healing techniques. Le Renquang said, you speak as if you can learn them immediately. Doesn't it take a lot of time? Han Fei snorted. If I told you I became a spirit gatherer in 6 days, your eyes would pop out in shock. Soon, one of the teams took the upper hand. Although the manipulator was strong, his teammates couldn't resist the soul warrior of the other team, so the manipulator had to retreat one step after another. Zhang Xuanyu sighed. Stupid. Kill the soul warrior first. Sha Xiaochen scoffed. Do you think they don't want to? When they were discussing intensively, someone knocked on the door. Bao Jin came and smiled. Kids, are you ready? Yes. Bao Jin continued. Okay, your opponent has arrived and is preparing. Please come with me. Oh, by the way, does your team have a name? Our host can give you a promotion when introducing you. Han Fei looked up at him. Thug legend. Bao Jin. Zhang Xuanyu explained, it means the legend of several thugs. The corner of Bao Jin's mouth twitched. Legend. You mean you kids win the game first. On the backstage, Luo Xiaobai naturally played the role of captain. She looked at the team members and said, Xiaochen, solve the other party's manipulator as soon as possible. Zhang Xuanyu, get rid of their spirit gatherer. Le Renquang, their soul warrior is yours. Han Fei, if I've guessed right, our opponent's hunter will mainly attack you and me. So, stay by my side and find a chance to solve their hunter. Han Fei said casually, we don't know anything about the other party. Will they have 2 soul warriors or 2 hunters? Luo Xiaobai thought for a while. Then let's fight free and choose our target respectively, but we must defeat them quickly to display the power of the Thug Academy. Sha Xiaochen smiled happily. No problem. As long as their manipulator and spirit gatherer are not abnormally strong like Han Fei, it'll be easy to defeat them. Le Renquang patted his armor box. Okay, I only need to block their soul warrior. That's simple. After a moment, in the arena, someone was shouting loudly, my dear friends, your tickets today are simply worth the money. You have no idea what miracle you have encountered. The legendary 4th Academy sent 5 students to participate in this tournament. What? 4th Academy, aren't they farmers? Yes, there is only a plantation over there. Did they still have students? Where did they get the students? Have they recruited students? The host continued, like everyone, when I heard this news, I was shocked too. But the fact is so. I have to tell you that this time, the 4th Academy sent a perfect team and its 5-person team is a perfect combination, including a soul warrior, an armorist, a manipulator, a spirit gatherer, and a hunter. Where is the applause? Where are cheers? Clap, clap. The sparse applause sounded, and there were no cheers at all, although Han Fei and his teammates were a so-called perfect combination. The host was a little embarrassed but he still continued. It is even more incredible that only one of the 5 teenagers is a peak-level fishing master, and the other 4 are all junior great fishing masters. Surprised, shocked, what you are about to see is a showdown between great fishing masters. Let's welcome our 4th Academy team with a warm applause. They are the Thug Legend. The 5 of them entered the arena and their faces beamed with confidence and pride. Zhang Xuanyu said to Han Fei, the host is quite energetic, but his introduction is too casual. Why didn't he introduce our spiritual beasts? Le Renquang whispered, something like a spiritual beast is better to display on the spot. If he introduced them in advance, there won't be a sense of anticipation. Sha Xiaochen was very excited. I'll kill the manipulator first. The host suddenly shouted excitedly, now, welcome our other team. They are already our old acquaintances. They used to be the champion of fishing master level fights. They are 3 swordsmanship league. Can they who have double soul warriors continue to maintain their legacy? Let's welcome the 3 swordsmanship league. Hooray! Han Fei glanced at the host and said, this host really has the gift of gab. When Han Fei looked at Sha Xiaochen, he found that the girl was waving at the stands. Han Fei was helpless. Sha Xiaochen, What are you doing? Who are you waving your hand at? Nobody pays you any attention. Sha Xiaochen tilted her head. I'm saying hello to them and telling them I'm going to kill everyone. In the stands, someone was puzzled. Are the students of this 4th Academy strong? Is such a pretty little girl a great fishing master? Someone added, they haven't experienced any actual combat, so their combat power must not be reliable. I bet they'll lose. Someone nodded. Perhaps the 4th Academy gave them excessive resources to make them great fishing masters in order to gain fame. But they came to the wrong place. In the arena, people fight for real. On the field, the other team had 1 woman and 4 men. The woman was a manipulator. In front of her was a burly man, covered in heavy armor, who was an armorist. At the forefront, there were 2 soul warriors. And there was also a skinny man holding a dagger who was a hunter. Han Fei pouted his lips. Look, I guessed right. But they don't have a spirit gatherer. Sha Xiaochen smiled. This kind of quick battle doesn't need a spirit gatherer. Han Fei froze for a while. So, I'd better act as a soul warrior. With that, Han Fei stomped, and then a spirit gathering circle appeared. Zhang Xuanyu glared at Han Fei. Shameless. The host shouted, wow. The spirit gatherer of the thug legend has been ready. Okay, I announce that the game has officially started. In the stands, someone wondered. Is this spirit gatherer a fool? Why did he expose himself from the very beginning? Doesn't he know the other team has a hunter? Forget it, I think it will be a wonderful battle. I didn't expect this group of students to be the kind of green hands with no actual combat experience. In the field, Sha Xiaochen and the other team's hunter disappeared at the same time. Zhang Xuanyu and Le Renquang exchanged a glance. They would solve 1 soul warrior each. In the blink of an eye, there were only Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai left on this side. In front of the manipulator of the other team was the armorist. In the stands, the audience was bursting out with curses. Thug my ass. They're going to lose. Yes, their armorist doesn't protect their spirit gatherer and manipulator. Are they stupid? Boring. I thought this would be interesting. Even the host was speechless. How should I comment on this battle? Are they a group of idiots? In the cursing voices, Han Fei suddenly moved. In the audience's eyes, the spirit gatherer took out double knives and hacked at his opponent. He moved so fast that an arc was drawn in the air. Rotating blade. For a time, sparks flew in the air. Han Fei grinned ferociously and pulled the purple bamboo rod in his hand like using a slingshot, and a figure was struck out by Han Fei from the invisible state. The next second, dozens of vines bound the hunter in a blink of an eye. Han Fei stepped through the wind. Spiral strike. Bam! A huge cloud of dust rose and the other party's hunter fell to the ground without even touching Han Fei, vomiting blood, and unable to get up at all. In the stands, everyone was stunned. So was the host. Aren't you AFC King Spirit Gatherer? Were you teasing us by deliberately making a spirit gathering circle? It turns out that you're AFC King Soul Warrior. Chapter 158 Return of the Thug Academy. Chapter 158 Return of the Thug Academy. The host responded first and shouted at the sky, Dear friends, just as you see, this player Han Fei, he turned out to be both a spirit gatherer and soul warrior. That's too strong. It only took him less than a minute to defeat the hunter of the 3 Swordsmanship League. The audience was amazed. Gosh, he is both a spirit gatherer and soul warrior. Is this kid a monster? How can he be so strong? I'm really messed up. I bet 100 mid-quality pearls on the 3 Swordsmanship League. Wow, the fatty beat his opponent so easily. The audience hadn't finished the discussion when the host exclaimed, Not good, the hunter of the 3 Swordsmanship League is defeated. Over there, several shadows bypassed the opponent's armorist. As Sha Xiaochen's shadow streaked across, the opponent's manipulator responded very quickly and wrapped himself with a large piece of seaweed. To the audience's shock, however, a big hole was instantly made in the middle of the seaweed. Haunting shadow. Shadow stab. The manipulator didn't even have any time to respond. As a cold light flashed through the seaweed, Sha Xiaochen suddenly appeared in front of the armorist who was almost scared silly. Die. Clang. 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 Shields popped up from all directions around the armorist and swords and knives flew out of the armor box, but he couldn't keep up with Sha Xiaochen. At this moment, the seaweed behind the armorist had all disappeared. The female manipulator was already kneeling on the ground covering her belly. She raised her hand and seemed to try to help her teammates with seaweed. But the next moment, her body was entangled with vines. The host looked shocked and excited. Wow, what do we see? The beautiful hunter of the thug legend knocked down the opponent's manipulator within a minute. Now she is confronting the opponent's armorist head-on. The host couldn't believe what he saw. A hunter fought an armorist head-on. However, on the other side, Le Renquang's armor box opened and weapons flew out one after another. They flew across the air and shuttled like shadows. Bam, bam, bam. The two soul warriors tried to block his attack with all their strength. However, Zhang Xuanyu suddenly roared, blood and chi burn. 7 layered waves in furious sea. Clang, clang, clang. Although Zhang Xuanyu was not yet a great fishing master, the visual effect of the 7 layered waves in furious sea was gorgeous, more shining than Han Fei's spiral strike. Before this, no one had ever thought that a soul warrior and an armorist could cooperate like this. The 2 soul warriors of the 3 Swordsmanship League were sent flying through the air in a blink of an eye. Sha Shaochen and the armorist were still hacking each other. However, the armorist found that his weapons were getting less and less effective. To his shock, all his weapons were entangled in the air in vines. Shadow stab. Han Fei pulled his purple bamboo rod like using a slingshot again. Go. Clang. Crack. The armorist found himself in the air before he realized what happened. He was still thinking, shit, I've just taken out my armor box. Why am I in the air? The host swallowed and didn't know what to say. The stands were silent. The audience was all stunned. Someone said blankly, I've just come in and haven't sat down yet, and it's already over. Who? Thug legend. Thug legend. Thug legend. The audience went crazy. At first, many people were still laughing at the thug legend, but in the next minute, they had won. The host finally found his voice. Won. Our thug legend won. It's so exciting. It only took them 1 minute to end the battle. Everyone in the thug legend has excellent combat powers and skills. Let's cheer for them. Where's the applause? Where are the cheers? Clap, clap, clap. Oh, thug. The host swallowed. Shit, how should I announce this? Even I didn't see clearly what combat skills the thug legend had used. In a private room, Bao Jin was dumbfounded. He rubbed his eyes and took a deep breath. 4th Academy. Are they going to come back? At the moment, Sha Shaochen and the others were waving at the audience. Unlike the waving in the beginning, they waved quite casually this time. Le Renquang was shouting, we are the thug legend from the 4th Academy of the Blue Sea Town. 4th Academy. 4th Academy. The audience shouted in excitement. Many of the audience members were students from the other 3 academies. Now they were stunned. What? 4th Academy? When did these students pop up? How are they so strong? Some people almost burst into tears. Damn, if I had known that the 4th Academy was so strong, I would have bet on them winning. And Han Fei and the others had returned to the backcourt lounge. Bao Jin was already waiting here. Bao Jin looked incredulous. Kids, are you really great fishing masters? Sha Shaochen said blankly, of course. Although our academy only has 5 students, we can compete with the other 3 academies. Bao Jin gasped. He recalled the legend of the Blue Sea Arena, a legend about the 4th Academy. The Thug Academy once swept across the Blue Sea Arena. So now they... Gulp. Zhang Xuanyu said lazily, when can we meet our next opponents? Bao Jin said with a wry smile, well, because your strength is beyond our expectations, we need to rearrange the fighting teams. Would you please come back tomorrow? Han Fei scratched his belly. No more fighting today. Bao Jin was helpless. I only arranged weak teams for you guys and they wouldn't be able to hold out for 1 minute under your attacks. Besides, no team would be willing to fight you today. At this moment, he glimpsed behind the passage, a group of people were packing up and about to leave the arena. As soon as they saw Bao Jin, they complained, Old Bao, you should have chosen an opponent of a similar level for us. Did you mean to put us on the spot? ... Han Fei and his teammates had to go back to the academy. It was useless to wait there anyway. At the same time, the other 3 academies in Blue Sea Town were in an uproar. so were the people in the entire Blue Sea town. Many people's first reaction was asking incredulously, are there still students in the 4th Academy? The 3rd Academy. Yi Nanfei smiled bitterly when he heard the news. Sure enough, when he heard Han Fei said that he was going to the 4th Academy, he knew that the 4th Academy was about to come back. The students who fought Han Fei that time all ran over and wanted to hear Yi Nanfei's opinion on this matter. Yi Nanfei instructed, go to the arena to watch their fight tomorrow. Maybe after watching it, you will know what kind of academy the 4th Academy is. It was the same for the other 2 academies. At the moment, the presidents of the 1st and 2nd Academies were meeting. Bai Kongye has finally found the heirs to the Thug Academy. Alas, the thugs are coming back. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I still remember the tragedy that year. I don't know whether these little guys can go further or not. Well, if they have this strength, I am afraid that the top 100 list this year will be changed a lot. Alas. Chapter 159 The Thugs Deserve Their Reputations Indeed. Chapter 159 The Thugs Deserve Their Reputations Indeed. The next day, when Han Fei and his teammates arrived at the Beihai Arena, they found that it was already overcrowded. Countless people held tickets as they rushed inside. Han Fei scratched his belly. Wow, running an arena must be damn profitable. Sha Xiaochen was helpless. We can't afford opening one. Le Renquang clicked his tongue. Isn't the hot pot restaurant of the Fish Dragons going to open soon? It will also make a lot of money. Everyone despised him in their hearts. Are you thinking of making money? You just want to eat for free. Han Fei, Han Fei. Han Fei suddenly heard a familiar voice. Looking around, he saw He Xiaoyu, Wang Baiyu, Sha Wushuang, and the others. Han Fei was surprised. Huh, why are you guys here? He Xiaoyu ran over and looked at Han Fei up and down. Did you really enter the 4th Academy? When Shang Nan told me that, I didn't believe it. Wow, you are famous now. Famous, He Xiaoyu said excitedly, yes. Do you know that these people all came to watch your team fight? Huh, Wang Baiyu smiled and said, I heard that you are all great fishing masters. Wang Baiyu's eyes flickered. As he expected, Han Fei did have secrets. He had been suspecting why Han Fei's strength improved so fast. Now, he was still an intermediate fishing master, but Han Fei was already a great fishing master. Han Fei smiled awkwardly and scratched his belly. Well, by a fluke. At this time, Sha Xiaochen popped up from behind Han Fei and asked curiously, is this your friend? Zhang Xuanyu smiled. Girl, I have something for you. He Xiaoyu gave Zhang Xuanyu a stunned look, her face slightly reddish. This man is so handsome. Huh, what is it? Zhang Xuanyu said with a smile, open your hand. He Xiaoyu opened her hand foolishly, but Zhang Xuanyu held her hand. Me, do you want me? He Xiaoyu's little face immediately flushed. She was stunned for a while until Zhang Xuanyu was kicked away by Han Fei. Zhang Xuanyu said angrily, Fei Fei, you're too much. Han Fei smiled. Zhang Xuanyu, is your skin itchy? Zhang Xuanyu hid behind Le Renquang. You don't understand. There is a feeling called love at first sight. Sha Xiaochen looked at Han Fei suspiciously. Ha ha, Han Fei, is this your little girlfriend? He Xiaoyu stared angrily. What kind of classmates do you have? Han Fei sighed. My fault. I shouldn't have made these friends. Are you guys coming in with us? He Xiaoyu's eyes flickered. Can we? Han Fei smiled. Sure. The Thug Legend had a VIP room in the arena. Through the window, they watched the arena where all seats were occupied and everyone was a bit shocked. Did all these people come to watch the Thug Legend team fight? Soon, Bao Jin came into the VIP room and said to Han Fei with a smile, Kids, according to your requirements, we have arranged the games you'll attend in the next 10 days. Today, we've invited 2 teams composed of great fishing masters. You will fight them respectively in the morning and afternoon. Of course, if you feel it's too much, I can move the game in the afternoon to tomorrow. Luo Xiaobai said coldly, too few. Bao Jin. Bao Jin was stunned. Too few. Le Renquang said, 2 games are too few. Just invite as many teams as you can. We are in a hurry. Bao Jin. Everyone. Sha Xiaochen continued, we mean, at least 10 games a day. 2 games are too few. It's a waste of our time. Bao Jin gasped. These kids are really arrogant. 10 games a day. As the head of the arena, what he wanted was to make the best of the resources. If the Thug Legend came here every day, the arena would have so many audiences every day. Luo Xiaobai said indifferently, we will not go until we win 100 games. So, you can arrange as many games as you can. Bao Jin gaped. 100-game winning streak. Is this their goal? Yes, in the history of the Blue Sea Town, only 2 teams won this glory. And one of them was from the 4th Academy. Do they want to make a comeback now? But why are they so confident? They are only junior great fishing masters, aren't they? He Xiaoyu and the others were stunned. What the hell? 100-game winning streak. But this place was full of strong masters. How could it be possible? Bao Jin said seriously, no problem. You can count on me. If you won't leave until you win 100 games, then I can guarantee that you can attend at least dozens of games every day. Bao Jin left excitedly. When he went out of the door, he clenched his fists excitedly. 100-game winning streak. The Blue Sea Arena rose to fame because of the 200-game winning streaks. If it appeared again, the Blue Sea Arena would come to a new height. Bao Jin said to one of his men, come on, now, summon all the teams available. And inform the entire Blue Sea Town that we invite all the great fishing master teams to participate in the games with a payment of 1,000 mid-quality pearls. If any team wins against the Thug Legend, they will win 10,000 mid-quality pearls. The waiter was stunned and Bao Jin growled, go. In the VIP room, Shang Nan exclaimed, is your goal a 100-game winning streak? Wang Baiyu looked unconvinced. This has only happened twice in history, and the last one was more than 30 years ago. Luo Xiaobai calmly said, records are bound to be broken. Let's go. The game is about to begin. Han Fei shrugged. She is the captain. She has the final say. Watching Han Fei and his teammates leave, He Xiaoyu and the others gaped. Sha Wuchuang looked at Wang Baiyu. Do you think they can achieve their goal? Wang Baiyu frowned. In theory, it's almost impossible. But let's wait and see. Chen Qing asked He Xiaoyu, did you find that the little girl beside Han Fei is gorgeous? Shang Nan nodded. Yes. Jia Tong looked at the others. Me too. Wang Baiyu smiled. Yes, He Xiaoyu, you have a competitor. He Xiaoyu scoffed. Gee, what are you talking about? Watch the game. With that, she turned her head away. That girl is really beautiful. Even I felt attracted to her. Is Han Fei in love with her? He Xiaoyu shook her head. No, Han Fei is so fat. No girl will fall in love with him. ... In the arena, the host was roaring. Today, from your cheers, I can see your enthusiasm for today's game. Yesterday, the Thug Legend team beat the 3 Swordsmanship League within a minute. Today, will the legend continue? Now let's welcome the first team today, Deep Sea Wild Wolves. It is worth mentioning that the captain of the Deep Sea Wild Wolves owns a powerful deep sea wolf fish. They used to dominate the level 2 fishery and they once won 7 battles in a row. Oh, come on, Deep Sea Wild Wolves. You must hold on for 1 minute. Brothers, if you don't want to die, play your trump card as soon as the game begins. The members of the Deep Sea Wild Wolves were stunned. What are you shouting? Is it certain that we'll be defeated? We are completely different from the kind of garbage teams like the 3 Swordsmanship League. On the other side, Luo Xiaobai was analyzing the competition. Their captain Lin Lang is a hunter and has a deep sea wolf fish. The team members are all hunters, all. Sha Xiaochen interrupted her. Leave Lin Lang to me. Okay, Lin Lang is yours. Han Fei, Le Renquang, Zhang Xuanyu, stay by my side. I'll tell you where they are. Let's defeat them in 1 blow. On the field, when the Thug Legend team walked out, the audience burst into a loud cheer. The host continued his announcements. Thug Legend, let's look forward to their performance today. The game starts. In the spectator seats, at least hundreds of people from the 3 academies were watching. At the moment, they didn't speak. They needed to watch at least 1 game before they judged the strength of the Thug Legend. Fuse. Both sides shouted. Fuse, and only Han Fei shouted, attach. However, his voice was drowned in the wave of cheers and no one heard it. All 5 members on the opposite side disappeared from the field. So did Sha Xiaochen. With Luo Xiaobai as the center, thousands of vines wriggled on the ground. In a minute, the 100-meter range was covered by dense vines. Clang, clang, clang. Somewhere on the field, Sha Xiaochen seemed to be fighting with Lin Lang. There were only glints of knives in the air and no figures could be seen. Suddenly, Luo Xiaobai said, 18 meters to the left. Le Renquang immediately patted his armor box and the flow of weapons poured out like a long dragon. 16 meters ahead, left, in the air. Zhang Xuanyu grinned. Spirit strike. 7 layered waves in furious sea. Luo Xiaobai continued. Han Fei, 12 meters on the right and 8 meters behind. Chapter 160 A 10-game winning streak. Chapter 160. A 10-game winning streak. As soon as Luo Xiaobai said so, 2 knives darted at Han Fei from behind. Then an astonishing scene appeared. Han Fei didn't move but pulled out his fishing rod. With a wave of his rod, the fishhook, like a wandering snake, shot out in an instant. Instant hook. At the moment Han Fei's fish hook shot out, hundreds of vines on the right of Luo Xiaobai suddenly jumped up. Spirit absorbing. Spiral strike. Han Fei jumped backwards. Everyone saw this fatty stepping through the air as his rod rotated like a spiral. Bam! A figure was sent flying, vomiting blood, and then he fell to the ground, tied tightly. On the other side, the vines were shattered, but the hunter was completely exposed to everyone's sight. Even though the vines were chopped madly, this person was still pulled to Han Fei. Slingshot. Go. The hunter was not given a chance to escape at all and was taken to his knees. On the other side, the hunter that Zhang Xuanyu faced was the most unlucky one. Before he realized what had happened, Zhang Xuanyu's rod had smashed at him. Being hit by the rod 7 times in a row, he passed out. Le Renquang's opponent was slightly better. Hunters excelled in explosiveness and speed. Although he was cut all over his body, he managed to run away. But just after he ran away, the Captain Lin Lang fell from the sky and laid on the ground groaning. The host was dumbfounded. How shall I commentate on the game? They are all invisible. The audience was silent. The students of the 3 academies who came to watch the game were shocked. Is this the 4th academy that they used to look down upon? Is this the strength of the perfect combination? In the VIP room, Sha Wushwang swallowed. Wow, they're strong. Shang Nan widened his eyes. They're not strong but super strong. The hunters have no power to fight back at all under their attacks. Chen Qing took a breath. That beautiful girl defeated the captain of the deep-sea wild wolves in half a minute. I haven't seen her appear. The moment she appeared, she had already won. He Xiaoyu patted her chest and took a deep breath. This battle had been beyond her understanding. In the stands, a student of the 1st Academy exclaimed, very strong, whether it's their cooperation or individual combat power. It was not that the deep-sea wild wolves were weak, but that their position was exposed as soon as they moved. The captain of the Thug Legend is a manipulator and her perception ability is extremely strong. So they have nowhere to hide. A student of the 2nd Academy added, no, we've got to tell this matter to the leaders of our school. We can't just sit by. Otherwise, the 4th Academy will become the number 1 in the Blue Sea town in less than 3 days. Yi Nanfei from the 3rd Academy also came to watch the battle. He said calmly to the students around him, did you see that? This is the advantage of the perfect combination. Before the spirit gatherer shows up, the manipulator has already controlled the whole battlefield. Hearing his words, the student swallowed. Those who had fought Han Fei took a deep breath. The flexibility and power of this manipulator really opened their eyes. The 5 members of the 3 swordsmanship leagues were also watching. A big man touched his own head and said, haha, that's good. I thought this team would last longer but they were defeated soon too. Their result is no better than ours. The female captain slapped him on the head. What are you happy about? Is it something to be proud of to be crushed by a group of kids? The host shouted, they won again. The Thug Legend team continues to present us with a legendary battle. It only took them 1.5 minutes to win. My dear friends, what an amazing number it is. Let's cheer for the Thug Legend. Applaud. Thug Legend. Thug Legend. The arena accommodating more than 50,000 people was boiling. The deep-sea wild wolves were defeated in the blink of an eye, which proved the strength of the Fourth Academy. They gathered around Luo Xiaobai but didn't go back to rest. Luo Xiaobai looked at the host. Can we start the next game now? The host was shocked. Are you sure you don't need to rest? Yes. Someone in the stands shouted. They don't need to rest. They crushed their opponents so quickly that they aren't tired at all. Come on, get the next game started. The next game. The next game. With the surging hubbubs of the audience, the host stood up and stepped on the table with one foot. Let's invite the second team. They once won 10 games in a row. Among them are a manipulator, a spirit gatherer, and 3 soul warriors. How will the thug legend win in the face of such a team? Let's wait and see. Now let's welcome the Armor Torrent team. Han Fei laughed. Quang Quang. Let's solve them alone. Le Ren wondered. Now. Han Fei said indifferently. Our goal is a 100-game winning streak. Let's fight a quick battle. Le Renquang sighed. Okay. I feel that after achieving the goal, I can lose at least 50 pounds. Han Fei sighed. Yes. We'll be more handsome than Zhang Xuanyu. The host shouted. The game begins. Fuse. Then everyone saw Han Fei and Le Renquang run to opposite sides like fools. What are they going to do? Do they want to fight 2-on-5? The eyes of the manipulator from the other team lit up. Do the 2 want to fight the 5 of us? The eyes of the 3 soul warriors also lit up. Are you serious? Do you guys think we are weaklings? Sprint. Han Fei and Le Renquang suddenly rushed forward as fast as hunters. Scar of War Shadows. Violent War Body. These 2 fatties, like savage behemoths, pounced at their opponents head-on, but it was a pity that there was no armorist here. But even if there was one, so what? The duty of soul warriors was to stand on the front line and block all enemies. Bam! As dust rose, 2 figures shot out like arrows from a string. A soul warrior was startled and shouted, "Quick, control the 2 fatties." Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. Hey, you should be careful of me, 7-layered waves in furious sea. Sha Shaochen suddenly appeared beside the other party's spirit gatherer. Who said I would fight the manipulator? At the next moment, the 3 members of the other team lost their combat powers. As for the remaining 2, one was fighting Zhang Xuanyu hard, and the manipulator was dumbfounded. I haven't used my combat skills but the 3 of my teammates are already defeated. So I have to face the 2 fatties and a hunter alone. In the end, the manipulator wrapped himself up. However, in less than a second, Xiao Shaochen shattered his protective cover just like what she did to the 3 Swordsmanship League. The remaining soul warrior surrendered. Okay, you won. The host felt he was about to lose his job. The thug legend ended each game so quickly. He didn't even have the time to comment. Thug legend. The audience cheered one wave after another. Although the battle seemed simple, the thug legend had 2 landslide victories in a row. Their opponents had no power to fight back at all. Luo Xiaobai looked at the host. Next game. Then. 1 game. 2 games. 5 games. In the ensuing battles, only a team with double armorists held up for 4 minutes, all other teams were defeated within 3 minutes. Outside the Blue Sea Arena, the staff had been shouting, "Betting has stopped for today. Betting has stopped for today." Someone said angrily, "Why stop? It's said that the thug legend team has low odds." The staff thought to himself, "Shit, the odds are low, but we're still losing money. These thugs are so FC King strong. We've found them 10 opponents, none of which survived." In the 10th game, Han Fei made a spirit gathering circle underfoot and infused spiritual energy directly into his 4 teammates' bodies. Soon, they were full of energy again. Luo Xiaobai shouted, "Next game." A member of the other party came out, however, said to the host, "We admit defeat." Then, he turned around and left. Le Renquang cheered, "We've won 10 games. The others." Outside the arena, Bao Jin said helplessly to his men, "Change all their opponents to intermediate fishing master teams. Junior ones are no match for them at all."